broadcasting a new paradigm on the One Network.
We invite you all to participate in the weekly discussions of the MIP team's project of sharing and restoration of the lands, hearts and lives in the jungles of Peru.
In the midst of the chaos that's created to keep humanity distracted, voices of reason and love ring out to offer solace and comprehension. From the amazing places all around the world, we bring together these voices. And keeping it all on track, here's Dave Stewart.
Hi, welcome everybody to Mission Impossible 5. This is the Tarapoto show, and we've got a few already joined us here in the Zoom room, and we're going to have Alfred Weber on in about half an hour's time, and believe me, we are absolutely delighted to have him here with us, and he's going to see how we operate because he doesn't know how we operate. So anyway, welcome to the show, and we've got Peter from Sweden coming to join us. And Peter, come and say hello, and welcome to the Tarapoto show for Mission Impossible 5.
Hi guys.
Yeah, thank you. Hi Peter.
Hi guys. Hi Dave. Nice to be here with you.
Nice to see you again after all this time. When you came to see me in the Caribbean, absolutely delighted to have you in the Caribbean and take you to Will and Elaine's at Aquaponics. And tell us quickly a bit about that experience you had, because we're going to go into a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience to see how they developed this wonderful aquaponics project, and the energy that they were carrying, and same energy that you're carrying down there in Tarapoto. So it's just beautiful.
I mean, you could tell who owned that place when you walked in it, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, it was very, very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah. And I mean, they can bring a lot of knowledge and the good stuff for you down there in Peru.
Well, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, of course, one of the things that we're going to go into in the show today, when Alfred comes on, we're going to go deep into the new financial situation and what we're inventing here in Peru, and how it affects the globe. Because I think everything that's happening here now, and I noticed this, it's affecting the globe because we're really our forerunners here, and it's because of you people. And just in case anyone doesn't know, Peter, I'm just going to speak to Linda, Carl, John, and we've got the boss here, so we've got a bit of a Swedish influence today on the show, on the Tarapoto show. So Linda, please come in. Welcome to this Mission Impossible number 5, the Tarapoto show.
Hello, Dave. It's great to be here.
Hi. We've been working hard, haven't we, this week?
We have been working hard, but is it ever paying off? It's very exciting. You got some funding. We got projects that are actually going to move forward, and lots more to come.
Yeah, and I mean, even you've been burning midnight oil on this. Last night, what time did you stay up till?
It was about 2:45 this morning.
Well, that's insane.
For an old lady, yeah.
Well, I was caught up at 4 o'clock in the morning the other day when we were doing I think we were on revision 5 before the first drafts came out. And we're up to first draft 2, probably tomorrow. And I think we've got 2 more. Michael Upstone came in and gave us some fabulous news about how to return the finance, if you like. In other words, if somebody's interested in giving us money, where are you going to put it, and when does it pay for itself? How do you get your money back? And a different way of looking at the whole thing. And this is what's fabulous about how we're going about this thing. If we're leaving an open mind, we're allowing stuff to come in, we can change the mind and change the shift and reinvent. And we are literally doing that, aren't we? Don't you find that fascinating, Linda?
I do. Being an accountant, that's my background. He's answered a lot of questions and put forth some ideas that we'd like to explore. And of course, the whole thing is for us all to be open and thinking out of the box to form a new way to do all of this. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, Michael's a real asset.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's actually presented a document, and I've asked him to come on the show today, but unfortunately he's with someone's better looking than me. I think it's called his girlfriend, and you know, so I do sympathise with him, and he's in the UK. It's a bit late there now; it's about 8 or 9 o'clock. And you know, anyway, but he's left us these papers, and basically these papers are called consciousness and consciousness co-creative, and there's about 11-page document. Did you read them?
I did, and I was very impressed because I don't know if you remember, but I've lived in 3 different communities, conscious living communities, and the points that he brings up are extremely important, because if people don't follow those guidelines, then they get upset and they leave because they don't understand what it's all about. So it's extremely important, and he laid it out really well. I was very excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, when I read it, I don't do this often, but when it's in there, but it's not quite there, I have to read it again. And then I had to tell you how technical I found it is. I had to read it a 3rd time.
Yeah.
And consciousness co-creative means that in Peru here, we're going to be, and it's great, we've got Darko just come into the room, so we're going to be going over to him very soon. But people like Darko are going to be coming in to Peru with other people, these professionals, to build this project and let these people build their own project. But we want to show them what they're going to be doing and how to do it. And what we don't want is anyone's ego creeping in the room. Michael Upstone's documents eradicate it, and he designs a meeting around the tourist field where we pour all our information, whether it's negative or positive, and then we, at the end of the day, we go away, nobody's made any decisions, then we come back the next day, we use everyone's expertise, and then we say, who wants to set the intent? And I thought it was fabulous. I mean, I've been in meetings all my life, and I've never been to a good one yet, but this showed me a sign that I was going to go to a good meeting, you know.
Well, I agree, Dave, and I'll tell you what's even more important in that is, you know, when a group of people are together of like mind and like consciousness, that radiates out to the world, you know, so everybody is involved, not just the people in that group. That's the beauty of it. It's very powerful, very powerful.
Well, I think that everyone should have read this now, because I think what Michael Upstone's setting up to do is when you start getting your contract, you're going to be sent this piece of paper and not sort of formally sign this and send it back saying you understand it to the letter of the law. It's to say that, you know, like a handshake and say, hey, look, I agree with this setup, because this setup is so futuristic that I want to play my part, but I want to be a co-creator, and I don't want to be an egotistical, you know, scientist or something like that. I want to be part of the project, and I want to be able to contribute to it, but not on an egotistical level. And I think that's fabulous the way he's spotted this as a problem before it's a problem, because we've been living with this. And we don't want to be bringing any crap with us, you know what I mean? So I thought it was great, and you didn't you, Linda?
I totally agree. And like I said, in community before, this was always the problem. There would be 1 or 2 that could not get beyond that ego. People don't like saying ego. My husband calls it personality. And they're not willing to co-create with the group. So what happens is, because the rest of the group is doing it, they end up leaving of their own accord, you know. So that's what will happen. If people aren't in alignment with the co-creation, they will leave. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do human design, and well, it tells me quite clearly I've got from my I Ching, I've got 46% ego. So when I'm buying a car or something, I've got to allow a little bit of ego to creep in there. I'm not saying dispense with it. I'm saying use it in a thoughtful, co-creative way. And Michael Upstone is literally saying, why not put it in an energy field and let the energy field of the room decide how the ego can be used in this particular thing, and get it working like a toroidal field. Then you get your intent set right in the middle like a candle and use it. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I can see us employing that here. And it's rather like, instead of going for a meeting, you go for a collective meditation, and you come out with the answers. You know, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, so, the circles, they do like the Native Americans, where you don't talk over each other, but you go around the room 3 times. and everybody gets to voice their opinion before you even talk about making a decision. I think that's beautiful.
I've got Carl and John on here as well. So, Carl, did you manage to get a chance to read that document?
I certainly did. I read every bit of every word in it, and yeah, I resonate very much to that. Wonderful document, and yeah, I can see how that can make things go real smoothly in a community of unity consciousness.
Well, what's funny about you, of course, Carl, is, I mean, some of the work that you do is so mind-blowing that if you didn't have any ego at all, you wouldn't get half of it done. And you're going to need some of that to kick it off, you know what I mean? So, I mean, but what it's saying is it's saying use it, but throw it in the pot. And you're going to be converting cars and all kinds of Christ knows what he's over in Tarapoto. And it's going to need your ego, but it's not going to need 96% of it or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I got exciting news since the last time we've been on a show for 2 weeks. And
well, I mean, we missed it because
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I've got a bit of a delay here. I'm sorry to cut over the top of you, but yeah, you've got some news because we missed the last show because I've been offline for 9 days, which is a pain in the ass. And I think the tower on this side of town had some trouble, either struck by lightning or something, and it took a while to fix, and that was where we were getting our service from. So we appear, by the looks of this program, to be okay again. So anyway, what's the news?
I finally got my passport, and
Hey.
so now I've thrown the ball into your court to get those letters so I can get down to Peru.
Well, thank you for putting me as king in #1 responsibility. But anyway, I've used it, and I've been with the. You'll see on the website on xi4.com. Got a couple of photographs of the universities I went today with Jaime, the mayor of Alguano Mayuno, who's going to be providing that document tomorrow morning at 8:30. I'll pick it up at a given location that is blown off the top of the table here. And anyway, I will have your documents tomorrow for you to go to the embassy in Texas on Monday morning. You'll be free to do that. Yeah. Have you got any more news for us?
More news. Well, yeah. Rebecca is going to be in Peru on the 26th, and so
well,
she's got a comfortable plane flight, so she'll fly from Bogota down to Lima, and she'll have about a 2.5-hour layover there, and then she'll fly to Tarapoto, where Dave, you'll pick her up.
I will indeed, and I'll be there on the dot, and that's fantastic news because just for the record and for the recording here, Rebecca Duenas, she's in apiculture, the bee culture. She's a beekeeper from a long time, and permaculture, and there's big business here for that. And she's also one of my favorite subjects as well, is this where we in MIP Peru, where we're converting the waste plastics of all different types, the 7 different types of plastics. Enrique might even come on the show here today, but he's going to be building this huge recycling center. Now, Rebecca's got a lot of experience in all kinds of different forms of holistic recycling as well. So you can see this all gelling together. And as we move on in the show and we talk about Urku, which is a very big one, you'll see that she's going to fit in there. So she's got a permanent job the moment she arrives, but I think she should have a 2-month holiday. What do you think, Carl?
A 2-month holiday? No, I think she will put her to work right away.
You're a slave. You're from the slave trade, mate, I tell you.
No. I think she's ready to do work.
Well, again, I mean,
as busy as you've been, Dave, you need her down there to help you take some workload off you.
I am overloaded at the moment because I appear to be running the high end of the ship, which is connecting the dots to the Cobra, Akmal, the Black. the Dragon's Gate, to the financing, to bringing it down here. And thankfully, I've got fabulous assistance. And the new document, which is on xi4.com, you can actually download it. It's not ready yet, but it's very, very close. Michael Upstone was on it today, and he's smartened it right up. Linda's been on it last night. Carrie Ellis has been on it. Mary Neath slaughtered it, and she's really knocked it into a lovely shape. I've showed it to all the team here. You've got the Aguano team, you've got the San Roque team, and you've got the Mary Neath team. And we've got Lars, who's running the micro projects in the office here, the aquaponics, the pyramids, the icosahedron bed that we're building here. And when you come, Carl, we've got your motor car, so you can convert that over to electric. And we've got all kinds of other things. Boss may be coming in. Let's introduce Boss to the show. We have got with Peter and Boss, we've got a real Swedish feeling about this place today. Boss, come in, please. Unmute yourself. Let's welcome to the Tarapoto show.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm so happy to be with you guys. It's
well,
totally amazing what you're doing down in Peru, you know. I love you.
Well, we can't wait to get you over here, Boss. Is your 3D printer working? Is that working behind you? Yes, I can see the base moving.
Yes, it's working. So I hope the sound is not disturbing you.
No, we can't hear it, but what's it printing out? Anything interesting?
I'm printing out this aquaponics stuff that Bill was sending us, you know. So I'm trying to figure out how to print that out. It's a bit tricky to get it working. And the other project I'm working on is the water's turbine, you know. That's really complicated, but I think maybe I can get it going, but it's taking a long time to print out, 24 hours.
Yeah, it's quite a big wheel. It's about 7 inches by 3 inches high, isn't it? So, and it's quite technical. It's got a lot of sacred geometry aspects to it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing is, it's like at the limit of what I can print out in size on my printer. You know, it's 20 centimeters what you can print.
Right. So you look like you're literally at the baby stages of printing the first MIP global free energy device. Is that what it sounds like? John Anderson, what do you think?
Well, I designed the thing to attach to pretty much anything that you need to spin, and it provides motive force from falling water, and it doesn't take a lot of water to make it move.
Well, Mike Waters says that we've got just 2 things wrong in the planet at the moment. What we perceive about energy is totally incorrect, and what we perceive about nature is totally incorrect and disconnected. And he rewrote literally on that article that you picked up and I picked up on. He rewrote the wind industry, didn't he? I mean, it's just a new industry now. Can you tell us a bit more so you can define it a bit easier for the audience, please?
Well, basically what he found was the traditional 3-blade wind turbine that you see everywhere is extremely inefficient. The only section of that windmill that actually produces any power is the outer third of the blade. So there's a huge amount of air that's moving through it that's not doing anything. He looked at that situation and discovered that if he made the turbine like they used to make the old windmills here in North America to pump water, you see them in the old movies and the old westerns and stuff, where they look more like a cup. And he designed a system where it's a large diameter cup with all of the vanes along the surface, and the vanes actually point into the wind. So as the wind travels and hits this cup, it must go out the sides through these vanes, and you're using 100% of the wind that enters into that surface area. It's according to his computer models, it is orders of magnitude more efficient than a standard 3-blade wind turbine, and I can certainly see that. The design that I built that Bosse's printing is specifically for water, but it uses exactly the same principles with a couple of little additions that I've added. One is a cone on the inside to direct the water a little bit more efficiently so that there isn't a dead spot right in the center. Mike Waters doesn't seem to think there's going to be much of a dead spot in the center of this cone, but my intuition says that it wants a nice smooth laminar flow. So I created a cone in the center of this to make that laminar flow. And now when we get Bosse, when he gets one printed, then we can actually test it and do some real world work with it and find out, you know, where it needs to be improved, because this is only the first iteration of the project.
Actually, that center thing is one of my big problems, you know, to get it printed, because it has to be printed, you know, in thin air, and I have to find out how to do that.
Yeah, I understand that that's going to be a bit of an issue, and if you need it redesigned, so I can make it solid if you want. I just did it hollow so that it would save material.
Yeah, but I think I'm at the verge of getting it printed out anyway, so it might not be a problem.
All right. Well, like I said, if you have specific design issues that you need to go over with me, please get in contact with me. I have no problem redesigning that. It'll only take me a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
John, may I suggest?
Can I interject?
There is another thing. For example, the propellers to run boats are inefficient as well. And if we use Fibonacci sequence, making it look more like the spine that resembles the conch shell, I think we would get a much more effective thrust, and then can be used also as a propelling part for producing electrical current. Let's say if you want to hook it up to dynamo or alternator. What do you think about that?
What was one thing that Dave actually came up with was to put a sacred spiral within the center of this thing, and I looked at that and I thought about it for several days, designed it a few times in my mind, and looked at the flow that goes on inside there, and I don't think it's going to make a significant difference. The speed of the air that's going through this, we'll find out when we have the real world issue or real world tests on this. But I believe that the speed of the air that's going through the actual driving portion of the turbine from the top to the bottom of this thing is pretty much equal. If the airspeed at the bottom or at the back, the base of the cup is a higher rate than at the mouth of the cup, then I may have to adjust the blade designs and put in a bit of a spiral within the blades. But the first iteration, I just wanted a nice, simple, basic, you know, something that's we can pour some water in and see it spin and measure the torque output. And then there's enough material there that I can take a file and I can adjust some of the airfoils a little bit and do a test again and see if it's going to change, see what changes. And that way I can get a better idea of where to take the next iteration of the design.
John, can I come in for a moment? We're joined by Alfred Weber right now, and just so that he is not lost with this conversation, just so that he gets complete clarity, could you please share screens and show us your drawing that you're talking about so that Alfred can, and I'm sure Doggo knows it. I know he knows the Dan Winters stuff and the vortex coils and stuff, but can you just share your screen for a moment and show us the 3D drawing that Boss is printing out so that Alfred can get a measure of how we work at MIP Global and MIP Peru?
How about you bring him in and give me about a minute to get it all set up.
Okay, well, that's great. I mean, let's bring in Alfred. We're absolutely delighted. If you want to unmute your microphone, Alfred, we're absolutely delighted to have you here. Again, I've got to say, because you were on the third show of Mission Impossible on Expanding You. We're absolutely delighted to have you here. Welcome
Oh,
to
okay.
the Tarapoto show.
Yeah, I know that you asked me today on an impromptu basis, and I because you said you had a lot of questions that you wanted to ask me, so I didn't know if this was an emergency or something. I myself have interviews lined up, and I have a whole backlog of catch-up work that I have to do today. I'm very glad to join you in the future at a preset time. So I will have blocked the time so I can really be with you right now. I misunderstood your invitation to join you on the spur of the moment. I thought that you had some specific questions that you wanted me to answer regarding something that I was doing. So that is because that's what everybody else wants to do. They say, "What are you doing now, Weber?" And so you'll all forgive me for my intrusion into your. I mean, I'm amazed. But if we then could just schedule a special program, I'll clear my schedule so I can pay full attention. But right now, I've got to prepare for my afternoon of interviews.
Okay, that's great. And well, it's great to see you back on here.
I can't. My life is such because I'm pursuing a number of active cases. I'm an investigative journalist, and I have interviews lined up. I have some people from the First Nations who are about to come into the studio who want to present testimony on one case, and then I have a bunch of people who want me to do other things. And I'm down in the trenches, gentlemen, and you guys are doing the inventions that are creating the future. And I'm very happy to come up to there. There we go. You see. Your rooster is agreeing. So I will join you up in Mount Olympus at your invitation. I will converse with the gods. Okay.
Alfred, just
Okay,
a quick one. Just a quick one. Is there any fire behind the smoke for the report on 12/14 that their United States is now republic?
No, that in my humble opinion, that was really a disinformation piece to attempt to set up Prince William as the future world Zionist king and give him some legitimacy in the mind of innocent bystanders in this kind of world, and to suck people in to say, "Oh, Prince William's a white hat." Yeah,
okay.
That's my read, and a number of other observers agree with that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, gentlemen.
The final one.
Yeah,
Alfred, the final one is just to let you know that we have been discussing, and with Carol Rosen, about a 501c3. And how's about this, just to go away with? We've got a company here in Tarapoto that does the same work as us, has got a 501c3. We don't need to go through anyone.
Hey, so you just work through them.
And they are, the president is he's the mayor, the alcalde of the village where we're renovating. He's the president.
Well, then that is wonderful. You don't need to descend into duality. Congratulations.
Excellent. So, well, with that, we'll leave you. We'll love you and leave you.
Okay,
You're always welcome.
Please, let's set up a date in the new year, and I can come and just not have any distractions on my end. But give me at least a week's notice so I can block out my calendar.
Okay. And at least you can see the way we work now. It's something quite interesting for you as well, Alfred, don't you think?
Oh, listen, I can see the level at which you're working now. I mean, I just from what I was able to absorb by the few minutes I've been able to be with you.
Great. Thank you very much, Alfred. From all of us here at MIP Peru, you are really one of those people that helps elevate us. You really are. And some of your interviews.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not quite sure how to get out of. Oh, it says leave meeting. This is quite the software.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thought you might be impressed. And it'll give you another box, and then you have to press. Don't press end meeting, please. Just press leave meeting. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. So I press this red thing that says leave meeting.
Yes, and then you'll get another box, and it'll say press something else in there. It'll say leave meeting again. So, and then we will just carry on. Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege of being with you, even for a short time, and I look forward to a more extended session.
Great.
Nice seeing you.
Hasta luego, hermanos.
Love you, Alfred.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day, Alfred.
Okay, so he's gone now. Well, that was quite nice, wasn't it? He is a busy guy. I mean, sometimes when I send him a message, he might not completely understand it. Same as Kevin Annette, actually. I went, I don't think he's understood that. So maybe he thought that, oh my God, I need you in here now, but it was fantastic to speak with him. And he's definitely right behind with what we're doing. John, I mean, we interrupted what you were talking about before, but I couldn't think of a better fella to interrupt what you're doing.
Oh, no worries. My ego is not bruised at all. If you still want to see that the image, and I can go over some of the issues that Bosse is having with the print, perhaps some of the folks that are listening may have some ideas. I
think that would be a great idea, JC.
All right, we can do that. And
yeah, I want to cover Darko in a minute because I've got Matey Boy. So yeah, if you get that done, that would be great because even Darko might not have seen this drawing. I'm not sure.
Okay, here's a cutaway version of the first iteration of the design. It doesn't show some of the details on the turbine blades themselves. There is an airfoil design. It's a very, very thin one because water's not compressible, but it's designed to use that non-compressibility to get a little bit more speed out of this. The issue that Bosse is having with the print, first off, the base wasn't adhering to his print surface, which was an issue with his printer. But right now, this angle, this shallow angle here, where the sacred geometry cone in the center to direct the water comes in, it's a very difficult thing to print that steep of that shallow of an angle, I should say. And I may have to redesign it and make that a solid piece so that his printer can deal with it. Another issue he's going to have, on the original design, this cap on the top was a single piece with this unit, and I realized this overhang here is going to be impossible to do. So I redid that design, and we're cutting this cap as a second piece, which we glue on to the top of the vanes after the print's done. But that seems to be the only real significant issue. It's going to be the base in here, there's an overhang here that needs to be dealt with, and this angle. Once we get those issues dealt with, we should be able to print this thing out and not have too much of an issue with it.
Yes, I think I actually found out that you can configure on what angle it should do, support from behind. So if I tweak that, I might be going home good.
All right. Well, again, Bosse, if there's anything specific, I know there's going to be an issue right here in the center here, and that's something I missed when I designed it. But if your software can put in support, even a gusset, any sort of a radius in there, which will be fine. That's wonderful. So we'll see. We'll try to make this thing and try to make it work, and we'll refine the design as we go. It should be simple enough that anybody with a printer can pull one of these things off and use it.
Yeah, I think we'll fix it in the end. I hope so.
Yeah, to me, this looks, if it is going to be efficient on air, it is going to, with slight modification, it may work very well in a water.
Oh yes, the air version, the veins will be much thinner and there'll be a lot more of them. That's one of the things that's different between air and water, is because of the compressibility of air, you use a lot more surface area and you spread it out. The most efficient turbine out there is an infinite number of infinitely thin blades. So you're looking for some sort of a medium within that. And so the air version, which is going to be significantly larger, it'll be 2 meters across rather than.
Yeah, makes sense.
There's a lot more room for adjustment. The airfoil will be different. There'll be a number of things different, but the core design, the core basic concept behind this is all the same.
Great.
Darko, did you see Mike Waters' original one of this? We've spoken to Mike Waters about Carl taking it over and trying to make something out of it. Bosse is our team, and Mike was absolutely delighted. And did you ever see the original copy of Mike Waters that's just come out, Darko?
No, I haven't. Seen it.
John, is it worth you just showing that? Can you flag that up? I can get it up quite quickly if you want to. You see, Darko, what it was Mike completely upended the wind industry. And,
I don't know.
He just said that all engineers, they've just completely got the whole thing damn wrong. So somebody must have known to steer them away from the fact that you've got drag and you can tap into that for energy. And he just rewrote the industry completely with his new wheel. It was about 5 foot across, and it was made out of those little grills that you have in your wall to let air through. And he just strapped a load of them right around the wheel. And this thing was shooting all kinds. He's testing it now. And now what we've done is we've made a smaller one, like that we can get on the 3D print, 7 inches by 3 inches high. And, we're expecting to get quite a phenomenal amount of power. Carl was saying he's going to stick one on the front of his 3-wheel trike when he comes to Tarapoto. And he might put one on the top, and he might even get lift out of it. I mean, this is insane, but these guys are insane. That's why they're with us.
Well, what came up when we were discussing this with Carl is the forward drag is a function of a square of the speed. These turbines, Mike Waters has found out, their output is a function of the cube of the speed. So there's an order of magnitude increase as you move these things forward. There will be, we don't know where it is yet, but there will be a crossover point where, as long as you can push this thing forward, you're going to get enough power to push it forward. And the theory is, because the turbine works on a cube, the forward drag or the amount of energy required to move this thing forward works on the square. There will be a point in its speed curve where it will drive itself and it will produce enough power to keep itself moving. So that's really, really exciting. It's something I really want to test, but we need Carl to get that bike built down in Peru where we can make this thing and get it and find some straight enough road that we can spin this thing up to 50 miles an hour and see if it's actually going to do what we think it's going to do. But that's an extremely exciting theory, and the math seems to hold true to it, which is very interesting.
Well,
what I can do,
I actually hope to get it tested before Carl gets down.
Well, the one you have, boss, that's built specifically for water. So if you have a stream in a decent stream where you can fill up a 3 or a 4 inch pipe, you could easily do a test with the water, and I think you're going to be amazed at how much torque that thing's going to have.
Yeah, I think I have that in my Echo Village. We have a little stream there, so I can test it out there.
Well, I'm thinking that about 10 miles an hour is about all I need to get up my trike up to be able for it to put out enough power to run the motor that I have on my trike. So I think the crossover is going to be way down because
you got a vehicle that all you have to do is get it up to an X amount of speed, and then it just goes by itself from its own speed, producing its power to make it go forward.
But John, what about the thing I'm trying to print out now? Is it for water or air?
Oh, it's specifically for water. The air version is going to be significantly larger and have a lot more and much thinner blades on it. It's probably going to be made out of metal. I'm noodling through a manufacturing process now for it. The water versions, we can injection mold those. That'll be easy. It's just a matter of building the mold for it. But the wind turbine version, to get any sort of significant power out of the wind turbine version, we need a fairly large diameter, 3 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we could do the same thing with water. We could have a 3-foot turbine running water, but it's going to need a lot of water. You're going to have we're talking large scale hydroelectric. But if the efficiency of this turns out to be what we believe it to be, a 3 or a 4 foot water turbine of this similar design would run an entire town instead of having a dam with 6 of the conventional turbines, which are basically not very efficient. And Peter just put in the chat, use carbon graphite. That is definitely a possibility. We can injection mold carbon graphite. I've worked with it before in the past. It's very nice stuff. It's really expensive. But one of the things about it is it's kind of brittle. So with a water system, if you get a frog or a rock or something going through there, you get run a real risk of chipping the blades and causing some issues. That's something that will have to be addressed. I may have to put a metal leading edge on the blades for the water system. I don't know yet. Again, it's the first iteration. It's the first design I came up with. I need one to play with and break and find out where it's going to fail, so that I can adjust and continue on with the design process.
So if I want to make a proof of concept with this thing, I could do it in water, or?
Well, yeah, that's like I said, it was designed specifically for water. It'll probably work in air. It's not going to work as well. You're not going to get anywhere nearly the efficiency you would out of one that has, say, 50 blades that are only a 1/4 inch thick instead of this 12 that are 1.5 inches long. But on the 7-inch version, if you excuse me, on the 7-inch version, the full size version, the center hole is a 1/4 inch. So you put it on a 1/4 inch spindle, pour water through it, and try to stop it while the water is running through it. And that'll give you an idea how much torque is there. You could glue the spindle in, put it on a bearing, attach it to a little 12-volt permanent magnet motor, and use that as a generator, and start putting larger and larger motors on it as generators. Find out where the limits are going to be, and that'll give you an idea of just an idea of the horsepower output. Once we have those ideas, once we have those numbers, then we can start working on specific ones. If we need one that's 10 horse, we need 7,000 watts. Then we'll know how big to make this. We'll know about the speed of it, because the speed of the water traveling through this is not really relevant. It's the angle of the blades that are going to determine the speed of the rotor. So I may have to adjust that. I don't know yet. That's why I need the prototype done, so that I can play with it and find out where these parameters are and where they need to be adjusted.
Okay.
The other thing that you showed us last time, John, was the section through, which will explain the gaps. And I'd like to see that again, because you've been doing some work on that, and you find that the 3D print is a bit rough for that. Is that correct?
Well, those blades are actually pretty thin. On the 7-inch version, I believe they're about 1/8 of an inch across at the thickest point. And that may be an issue. They're quite steeply pointed, because in water you want a fairly a sharp angle. That may cause cavitation. I don't know. Again, this is the first iteration, and until I have one to play with and I can spin and look at it and see what's happening and look where the bubbles are coming from, all of that stuff, I won't know exactly where I need to make these adjustments.
I don't see that as an issue.
Okay.
We should be able to print this out, with proper dimensions. It shouldn't be a problem. I don't think so.
Yeah, also I designed it to use as little material as I could get away with. I know that it does take a long time to deposit this material, and especially with a large part, you're looking at a very long printing time because you're not putting very much material down at once. But I didn't really plan this project to be a long-term 3D printer project. If someone has a printer and they want one of these turbines, yes, by all means, the files are available. But for once we have a functional working unit that we can mass produce, then I will design a mold and we can turn these things out. We could turn out one every 15 seconds rather than 24 hours on the printer.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, so that's the way forward. When we're looking at machine shops, John, in Peru, is to when Carl gets here, we start looking around at some kind of CDC machine, or lathe, or something like that. Is that what you're sort of getting at there?
Well, you're going to need a lathe, milling machine, a surface grinder, and drill press, a bunch of hand tools to make the mold. But once the mold is made, then it's a plastic injection molder. A big press that holds the mold, and it squirts the plastic in, cools it, opens up, pushes the part out, closes up, squirts the plastic in, cools, pushes the part out. And it just does this over and over and over again. I worked in the plastic industry for quite some time, and it's not a difficult thing or a very extensive thing to do. There's lots of places that do it. Your cell phone, the plastic case of your cell phone. I've made molds for the cell phone cases. I've made molds for guitar parts, plastic bottles, all different kinds of stuff. This is no different than any of those other things. It's just a different shape, that's all. And there's plastic injection molding companies all over the world. Whether or not I really want to go plastic, I don't know. We can do the same thing with a metal. We can injection mold metal as well. And it's a slightly different kind of mold, slightly different kind of machine, but the process is basically the same. That may turn out to be a more robust and eco-friendly part because that's 100% recyclable. If you need to grind it up and melt it down back into metal, it's not going to degrade like plastic does.
Can it be, I mean, Boss is using polylactic acid. I mean, this is a holistic material anyway. I mean, we can find that in the ground outside. Also, you've got hemp. So there's many varieties that we could pick on there.
Oh, certainly, like a hemp epoxy would work really good. The PLA, the polylactic acid, is a biodegradable, and it sucks up water like mad. You do not want to make one of these things in PLA. PVC, which is the other very common version, polyvinyl chloride, that would work really well as long as it doesn't get really cold. PVC has a tendency of getting very brittle when it gets cold. But if you're running water through it, it's not going to be below freezing, so that shouldn't really be an issue. The material choices, yes. I think if I was going to injection mold one of these things, it would probably be glass reinforced nylon for the robustness and just the basic strength of the part, especially with a larger one. If we're making these things bigger than 7 inches, I would definitely go with a glass reinforced nylon.
Actually, at the moment, I'm printing with ABS, but I'm going to try out PLA also. But for the moment, it's ABS.
Yeah, just don't use PLA for anything. Don't use PLA for
I've got here
with water. It's one of the most absorbent materials you can use for that. It'll suck out, like this part would almost double in weight in about 24 hours if it was immersed in water.
Yeah.
Right. I suppose, John, that'll lead us on to what has Roman been with you? Because I've been offline for a couple of days. Can you update us on what happened when Roman came and met Gerard? And did you get to meet them? And tell us what happened.
Well, I did get to meet him. It was a very wonderful experience, and Roman is such a sweetheart. What we were working on was a form of Tesla's radiant energy that that Gerard had discovered, and what he was working with was using a small amount of energy input to basically open the how do I describe it? I think I'll call it a portal where the radiant energy can come through. And I'm just now beginning to understand that. I've been looking through the Bedini stuff, the Bedini, the simple schoolgirl motor, and their battery charger, and I think I'm getting a better idea of how this radiant energy portal works. And Gerard's system is very similar to that, where the collapsing magnetic field of a coil, when you turn the power off on a coil, or you reduce you shut off the power to a coil, the magnetic field that coil creates must collapse, and it's that collapse that seems to be what draws in this radiant energy. And what his premise was that he could create this collapse with a very small amount of energy, which is exactly the same thing Bedini was doing, but he could then take that absorbed radiant energy and using a very specific type of transformer, boost it up into something that's actually usable. And the last test that he did, he had a very small electric motor that's actually out of a washing machine. It's an old washing machine pump motor that was repurposed. It output 130 volts. I can't remember the exact speed, something around 1800, 1900 RPM. But very low current. And he ran that into a pole pig, the big pole transformer, took the output of that, ran that through another pole transformer, because the pole transformer boosted that 130 volts up to 15,000, 20,000 volts, a ridiculously high amount. And then he ran that into another pole transformer, transformed it back down. And the report that I got was that he had a measured 1,000 watts in and a measured 1,000 watts out with no loss. Now, that may not seem significant at all, but if you know anything about electronics or electrical theory, being able to convert that kind of energy that much without loss is phenomenal. I haven't actually been talking to him in the last week, so I'm not sure where he's at now. But so far, the experiments that he's been doing have been fairly promising.
Is this not far away from you? Can you go and meet Gerard again sometime?
Oh, certainly. He's only about a half an hour away, and I will be going and talking to him again shortly. But I'm sort of limited as far as how I can get around, and there is no bus going out that way, so I either have to walk or come up with a ride. So I need to work a little bit with that. Go ahead.
What kind of level is he when it comes to your integrity? I mean, are we talking about a guy who's like picked up and running with Tesla? Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, to some degree. I don't see any deception in the man. The experiments that we did were amazing. With this little teeny tiny amount of power, what did we measure? 27 watts input. We measured off the batteries, took a current reading, took a voltage reading, calculated the actual wattage input into the system that he was getting from his two 18-volt batteries. 27 watts input. We were getting a 10-inch long by 1/8-inch thick spark in a 1,000-watt sodium lamp. We weren't using the lamp as a light bulb. We were using it as an instrument so we could view the spark. We were getting radiant energy that we were lighting up fluorescent tubes 6 feet away from this thing. The amount of energy we were getting out with such a little tiny input was phenomenal. It was lots of fun shooting sparks across the room and playing with the light bulbs. And you know, most people, if they just looked at it, they'd think, oh, a bunch of big kids just playing with toys. But when you really sit down and think about it, the increase in available radiant energy from such a small input was amazing, and it blew my mind. And I've been playing with this stuff for 30 years.
Do you see this being something that Carl can play with down in when he gets down to Peru?
This specifically, well, yeah, probably will have an application down there. But I've recently discovered something else that's right up Carl's alley, and it's right along with what he's doing, and that is this this crystal battery technology that John Hutchison came up with. There's a fella in Morocco.
This is what Linda was talking about before.
Sorry?
Isn't this what Linda was talking about? That Nick's doing this down in, he's experimenting with this down in Morocco as well, with the One Network team with D and all that. They're having a little go at this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And one of the things that he found out, or one of the things he's been playing with, is he looked at a different construction technique for these crystal batteries. The Hutchinson cell and the one from the Laser Hacker site, they use basically a copper cup. They melt the salts down and pour it into this cup with a magnesium rod in the center, and they've got like 1.5 volts, 1.2 volts, 1.3 volts, very low current. But as a proof of concept, it works really, really good. What Nick is reporting is that he did the same thing, but he used an old car battery. And he poured all the sulfuric acid and water out of the car battery, neutralized it, cleaned it up really good. And then when he mixed the salts together, instead of melting them down into a paste, he actually mixed them with distilled water into a very thick slurry, put that into the car battery, and he was getting, he reported just a little bit over 12 volts out of this battery. So the right there's useful thing. There's something that anybody can build. It's really easy. The materials are really safe with the exception of the sulfuric acid, but that's quite safe if you take the adequate precautions.
Well, and Carl, JC, he's using that Vanini motor to recharge the batteries back to their new state when you need to.
Yeah,
Fred and I are going to be building. Yeah, we're going to be building one with him, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah, I was just going to get
Yes,
into
I think next tech, you know, it's totally amazing. I'm going to try that. It's really great.
Yeah, I was just going to get into that. One of the things that came up when I was watching the videos on this, and you can find those videos on Dee's site, Removing the Shackles. If you just Google Removing the Shackles, you will find it. One of the things that came up for me is that no one has done a load test. And that's one of the things I want to do. I'm right now, I'm in the process of collecting the 4 salts that need to go into this: the potassium chloride, magnesium sulfate, aluminum sulfate, and the borax. And using Nick's method into an old 12-volt battery that I'm going to recondition with the Bedini circuit. And the Bedini schoolgirl circuit is so simple. It's 2 resistors, 1 transistor, and 2 diodes, and a coil. And this circuit has been proven to recondition lead acid batteries, lithium ion, nickel cadmium batteries. It'll probably even do nickel metal hydride batteries as well. But it's been proven with the lead acid regular car batteries that if you have a car battery that just will not work anymore, it's dead, it's done, even ones that are all dried up, you can pour water into them, hook them up to this circuit, and recondition this battery and get it back to working condition again. Use one battery to charge up 6, 10, 12, 15 other ones. And you just keep cycling your batteries through. So anybody who's off grid, who's using 12-volt storage batteries, or even 6-volt storage batteries for that matter, the old forklift batteries, anybody on solar power, this is the cat's meow for these guys, because this, instead of using a huge amount of energy to charge your batteries, and you're dealing with heat and fluid losses and evaporation and outgassing, this eliminates all of that problem. From all reports that have been coming in, these simple schoolgirl battery chargers from the Bedini system They eliminate all of the issues that we have right now with these 12-volt lead acid batteries. They use radiant energy, very tiny amount of input energy to create enough energy to keep these batteries going, charge up. One battery will charge a dozen, and you won't deplete the one battery. There's so little current draw on this system. It's amazing how this works. And it's kind of in line with what Gerard's doing, where he's using the collapsing magnetic field to collect this radiant energy and then using that radiant energy in something useful. Anybody who's got a 12-volt system, car battery, anybody who has a car, who has problems with their batteries, if you have one that's dying, this will correct the battery. It'll bring it back up to, some people are saying, new or better than new condition. Now that, again, I can't support that because I don't know yet, but I can see how that could be possible. Anybody who's interested in this stuff, definitely go look it up. There's information all over the net, especially the Bedini stuff. There's people making all kinds of different iterations of this. And I guess it's up to each person to decide, which iteration is going to be made. But 10-year-old kid can make this. It's really, really simple. It's super simple. It's very robust. It's not going to break down. The folks in anywhere. There's folks in Morocco who their whole energy system is a 12-volt battery, and
I was studying the Bedini stuff a couple of years ago, and I was thinking about building one of the schoolgirl circuits, and I actually bought everything I need to build 10 of them. So I've got all the electronics to build 10 of them, and it's all going with me down to Peru. And I've got the majority of the energy from the vacuum series discs that John Bedini has put out, and they're very, very interesting. And there's theory. There's some discs in there with theory with Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, and he really gives the physics of how this comes through. And I've watched those things, so I really understand what's going on with that.
Yeah, 5 years ago, this seemed like a total pipe dream when I first looked at it, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool, but does it work? And now we've got so many people that are actually doing this and proving this works, and it's so simple to do. Can you imagine having an electric car where it basically charges itself? You don't even, there's no plugging it into the wall anymore. All you have is one spare battery sitting in the garage that drives the charging system, which charges your car up. Every couple of months, you swap that battery out for one of the other ones that's in the car, and you just cycle them through. There's no more hooking up to the grid anymore. We don't have to do that.
Well, there's also,
John, could I interrupt you there?
Yeah.
Is this something that, when we've got the San Roque site and we've got the land now for the aquaponics and we've got the land for the recycling center, well, isn't that interesting? I mean, could we be talking about having a Tesla charging station there? Because if we're going to convert all the cars over and we're talking about a massive recycling center, couldn't we literally have a station there where we convert and teach all the mechanics how to convert all these cars from when Carl comes over, and we could actually have a charging bank station that you get to from Tarapoto, and by the way, you come all the way up to it's about an hour from Tarapoto.
Absolutely.
On a road.
Absolutely. And we're going to have, absolutely, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And San Roque will probably be the first community. Aguanumanu will be the second one. These will be the communities that we will showcase. They're going to be the showcase community. San Roque is going to be real easy because we've got more water coming down there. That I mean, we can, with these water turbines, we can create enough energy to power the whole town, and still have more left over. We're gonna, the yeah, it's going to be amazing. This is why I'm coming to Peru. This is my forte. You know. Yeah, we're going to be. That's what I'm going to be working on doing.
One of the things that does come up when you're doing the conversion, not after you're done with the conversion, but as you're doing the conversion, excuse me, is the conventional lead acid battery. They need several cycles through with this this new charging system to condition the battery to this kind of energy. That will take some time, so you can't just pull your Mercedes diesel into the charging station and hook it up to the battery and expect it to be out of there in 15 minutes. But once you have the batteries conditioned, according to the reports that I've read, they charge extremely fast. So over time, as we get all of this, everything switched over and get these batteries conditioned, then yes, this totally becomes a possibility where you can have a charging station, you pull your car in, you plug it in, 20 minutes later, you're on the road again. But initially, there's going to be, there's growing pains. There's going to be an amount of time where we need to switch over from the old system, the old hot energy, into this new cold radiant energy. And but I don't see that as being a significant issue if people understand it's going to take some time, and you can't, it's not just snap your fingers and it's all fixed sort of an issue here.
But I think the beauty of it is that you can actually reuse, old batteries. I love that to reuse things, not put them in the scrapyard. So I think it's really nice.
Yeah, and with the crystal battery, if we're repurposing the old lead acid batteries into these crystal batteries, there's no environmental hazard. You could eat the materials that you're putting into these crystal batteries. They're all food grade. Most of them are used for medicines. One's a pickling spice, Epsom salts, borax, and potash. It's simple, basic chemistry. It's not going to be hard on the planet. If the load tests turn out to be sufficient, then switching over to these crystal batteries and then immediately conditioning them with the Bedini circuits, we can reduce a huge amount of landfill problems, a huge amount of problems disposing of the lead, disposing of the acids. Wouldn't have to deal with that stuff anymore.
Well, another grand thing about it for you, Dave, and Carl, is that because you get the batteries for nothing and you get them set up, yeah, you can recharge what the guys have, but you can also sell them for very little money and still make a profit. That's one of your income methods over there, Dave. Dave, you're gone.
I'm gesticulating. I'm just wondering how much time Javier's got on his pulsar. He's got Dr. Darko's pulsar on at the moment, and I'm sorry to interrupt the conversation, but he fell over last week, and I was wondering how much time he's got left. Just while Darko's here and while Javier's here, because he'll probably leave in a moment. Darko, if you can just come in, I've got to ask you a question. He fell over, and after he can walk again, so he's a bloody danger to himself now, 74-year-old, fell over in his kitchen, slap on his spine, and then he sits at home for 2 days, doesn't come round and get the bloody pulsar, and then I go round to his shop because I buy all my stuff from his shop now, and there he is sitting there all miserable as holy hell.
Oh, look, bandwidth issues down at Dave's place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Dave's froze up on us. So let's get back to Carl. Can you talk to us a little bit about your plan for converting these noisy and stinky old motorcycles over to electric once you get down there? What? Oh, am I not even getting out? I should be getting out. Carl, you there?
Well, I get you.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry,
Hey,
I was muted.
No worries.
Yeah. Well, really, it's a matter of yanking the gasoline engine off those moto taxis putting an electric motor on there, creating these crystal batteries, and pairing the electric motor with these crystal batteries, which from what I've understood is these crystal batteries will even recharge themselves over a period of time. So it could really be, you go for a short distance, like in the morning where you go to work, and the battery's recharging itself while you're at work, and it got you enough to get you back home.
So are you looking at like a purpose-built motor, or are we going to use stuff that's already existing?
We'll use stuff that's already existing, at least at the beginning. The electric motors, those are they're well established and are out there off the shelf, fairly inexpensive. And I don't, as long as we use efficient motors, it'll be good. But as we go on, we may go ahead and repurpose those motors to where they're even more efficient.
Is there already companies down there that are doing this sort of thing?
That I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been down there yet, so.
Well, there's lots of places. I know there's lots of places in the States and Europe that they're actually making electric motorcycles, and some of these motorcycles are amazing. A lot of them are making their own motors, but they're still using lithium-ion battery technologies. They're still using the old school thinking about this. What sort of a new thinking, other than the crystal batteries? Because again, I have to reiterate that technology, although it does work, we don't know if it has the power capacity to be able to deal with these vehicles at this time. If that's the case, and the crystal batteries just don't produce enough current to drive these motors, what sort of a plan have you got in mind for that?
This is why my trike is going to really be a big. My trike is going to be a test mule, because it doesn't take that much power to move, and I can always pedal it home if I run out and I need to get home. I can actually still pedal it home. The trike's going to be a test mule, and it'll probably go through who knows how many iterations. It'll probably always be going through different iterations. From putting the wind turbine on the front to recharge batteries while I'm in the move, and who knows what all is going to happen. I'm not speculating as to what happens in the future. I'm in the here and now, and the here and now is getting me to Peru, and I expect to be there and bring in the new year down there in Peru.
All right. Well, that's awesome. I look forward to seeing the process and the progress you make once you get down there. Dave's still.
Anyway, I see crystal batteries is a really good thing. I'm really going to explore that. It's a lovely thing to me.
Okay, looks like we got Dave back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I went to Marini's house the other week and the other day, and at the back there's a huge scrapyard of these motor taxis, and I bet you pound to a pinch of shite that there's a great big bank of dead batteries there. They've got to control it somehow. They don't want to leave them lifted on the side of the road. So I reckon, Carl, that's one of the first little visits we're going to make, is to around about Marini's place. And we'll have a little look, see what we can find when we go there. That'd be very interesting. What do you think?
Oh, sure. And there's so many different things that I'll be doing down there, as far as getting things more in a more ecological and a clean manner. Green energy, clean energy.
Well, it's called the Tarapoto show. So, and you can see on the xi4.com site, I posted some videos about what the place looks like. And I got a gift from Chathuta the other day. I'm just going to show you. Pretty nice gift too. It came from Caesar, who works very closely with us. In fact, Caesar, if anything, has pulled everybody together. I mean, he's got a tremendous aura about him. And just to let you know, Chathuta's history is 5,000 years of pottery. And they sent me this. And look at the inscriptions, real Quechuan, beautiful. The inside of it's beautiful. It's beautiful design. It's got great taste. It's got some Quechuan words to it as well. And then it's got some Spanish to it as well. And when Paul comes up down here, he's going to be going down there. And we can infuse this with EM technology, effective microorganisms. We can make this live, just like we can make your walls live in your house. And all these other holistic things we can do with effective microorganisms. With ceramics, it still activates after 800 degrees C. So this is beautiful, and there's plenty more of them, and they're pretty well worth collecting a set of them. So and they said that I could use it for an ashtray. No, I can't do that. That's a bit insulting for such a beautiful piece. I just want to move on a little bit. John, would you like to have a little break and play some music for a little while, and we'll just all have a little cup of coffee, cup of water, or whatever we all want?
All right, we can do that. We can do that. We'll put a little bit of Otmar Liebert on. 4.5 minutes. Oh, there's a little tune called Dawn in a New World.
Okay, you all mute. Thank you.
And we're back. I hope everybody enjoyed that little interlude. Got yourself a drink or a beverage or whatever you needed to do. Welcome back, Dave.
Yeah, hi everybody, and well, the second round, and we can talk about all kinds of things. But one thing I just do need to mention to you, that Lars came in and mentioned that earlier on in the show, before Alfred came on, we were talking about Michael Upstone and his document that I think we've all read now. And if anyone hasn't, please send me an email. Boy, you've got to read this stuff about the futuristic way of doing new business. It really sets your mind into the future. I've got to say, I can't tell you enough if you haven't got it. It's called Conscious Co-Creation. And you can get an email copy or join my Skype at MIP Peru. That's double P. And Lars mentioned the fact that in that document, the futuristic way of building, he said, can you consider going back to the conversation about 3D printing and making the Mike Waters wheel, the turbine, with magnesium oxide? And of course, Michael Upstone mentions that, and I think that's correct, isn't it, Lars? That's where he gets it from. And he wanted to just run that over for you first, just before we move on certain other things that's going on in Tarapoto here. So, John, magnesium oxide, I'm a carpenter, I'm a builder, what the hell is it? And I haven't a clue. What's he talking about? What's Mike Upstone on about?
Any oxide is basically rust. Magnesium oxide is the output of what happens to magnesium when it contacts oxygen, so it won't corrode anymore. Now, centering that into a solid piece, I don't see that as being too much of an issue. It should only require pressure, and we can produce a tremendous amount of pressure. So yeah, I'll have to research into that, look into that. There's going to be a whole bunch of different ways of being able to do this. One of the things that I've known for years, and it's just now starting to come out, is anything that we make from hydrocarbons, which is the oil we pump out of the ground, we can make with carbohydrates, which are the plants that we grow on the ground. So we can make a hemp-based, totally renewable plastic that's not harmful to the environment, and it's from a renewable resource. We're not depleting any resources of Gaia. We're not drawing her blood out of the ground and burning it and putting it into the atmosphere and breathing it and making it part of our cells, and it's just yuck. There's so many different ways to do this. I am totally open to any suggestions and any new things that come out. There's certain things that need to be dealt with this. It needs to be lightweight, it needs to be robust, be able to handle impact, be able to stay together at high speed, because the centrifugal force that's going to try to pull this thing apart is actually quite high at high speeds. So it needs to have fairly good structural integrity, and it needs to not absorb water. So as long as we can maintain those parameters, and there's probably a few I haven't thought of yet, because I'm just pulling this out of the air right now. As long as we can maintain the parameters of the device that we're creating, we can make it pretty much out of anything we want. And new manufacturing processes, new materials, they're all going to be coming out as the consciousness shifts and as the material scientists start thinking in different ways. Because right now they're thinking in monetary terms. How can we make it as cheap as possible, simple as possible, not worrying about 10 years down the road? Because that's one of the biggest issues with manufacturing these days is that nobody thinks about 10 years down the road. One of the things that drove me nuts when I was in manufacturing full time was something called planned obsolescence. And I could see it in the drawings of the devices that I was building. This device is only going to run 10,000 shots or last for 6 months, and then it's going to break because the materials degrade, they oxidize, they're not made out of the right stuff. And it's designed specifically so that you have to go buy another one. The new consciousness, the new manufacturing processes that are going to be coming out, they're going to be made with materials that are safe, that are renewable, that don't deplete resources, and they're going to last forever. Because you're not going to make your money, or you're not going to make your living by making a million parts. You're going to be making your living by making the best part. And once that shift happens, I'm so looking forward to getting back into the industry with that kind of a mindset.
I mean, that's why we're here, actually. And with having this connection with MIP Peru, and then you guys who are all filtering over here one by one, you know, basically this seems to be the, in writing the document, Linda, we've been realizing that there's a reason we're here. We're here for an exchange of this friendly technology, but we were really struggling, John, you and I were really struggling to get the words right. But in actual fact, we've got to be really humble about being here. We've got so much education going on. I mean, I've got Lars right next to me. He's educating himself about what the jungle's teaching him and what he's actually gone on to Darko's full-on protocol. And we've got to eat a bit of humble pie here. We're here to learn and share and open source. And they know this. These indigenous people know this. They know we're here. And this is fantastic by being here. And when Carl comes over here, he's going to be learning as well, like we all are. And this is a great educational platform, not only to do education, but to receive education. And when you got someone like Marineith, by the way, who won an award this week, and I'm going to share my screen in a moment about that. We're going to be sharing this technology with these people. We're going to be going down to the mechanic shops. We're going to be explaining it to them. If they get interested, they are going to be converting San Roque, the village. All the bikes and the cars there and the motor cars can be converted over to friendly electricity. Likewise in Aguan and Mayuno and any other projects. And then next minute, we're going to change this gasoline thing on its heel, because these people are going to realize their car only needs the mechanics to run, because the electrics keeps it running for free. Or near as damn it. At the moment, they're putting, I don't know, it's about 13 sols to fill one of these motor cars up, and it gets you, I don't know what, across Tarapoto to San Roque and back again. That's about all you get out of it for 13 sols, which is expensive for the guys here. So we're talking about changing the whole town with this type of technology, John, you know. I mean, Linda, just when writing that document, the actual official document for funding for MIP Peru merger with ERCU, it's been quite testy, hasn't it?
Yes. Yes, and it still needs work, yes. To get
Oh, we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, to get the point across, like you were saying, where we don't come off as arrogant, but we're coming off as being here for them, to learn from them, to assist them and ourselves and the planet, right? We want that to be clear.
Yeah, well, I'm going to share screens now. I'm going to show you a very pretty picture of what we've been doing here, share screen with computer sound. Okay, so I'm just going to, you'll get a little confusion up here now, but I've got the picture up that I want to show. Is this one. Can you see that?
Kind of.
Well, it's Marineith holding the, it's Marineith holding her medal, her award. She's going to take into the jungle today. That's why she's not with us. And she's got the written award. And I've got to say that there's some change going on here, because we went around to spend about 7,000 sols on the materials for her project. And the government came round here, and they were sitting here in this office, and we had a meeting, scratching up on the board what we needed, writing down every detail. And then they formulated a paper that goes down. And I told them exactly what they needed to be self-sufficient: toiletries, water, electricity, and stuff like that. And we're then you've got to get about 40 people to take that 2 miles across the river about 14 times through mountainous terrain to get to the animal center where Orlando is, Orlando being the guy who won that award. Now, here's what's remarkable that happened during that visit to the Big Plumbers Center. I started yanking down things off the wall and saying, no, I need that, and I want that. And he said, well, it's not on the list. And I said, I don't care. I need that, and I want that, and I want that. And they'd scrubbed it all off the list. So I was a bit perplexed, and Marinith was losing it. And then next minute, what happened? Marinith said, "Why are you picking stuff that's not on the list?" And I said, "Because I need it. If you want to be holistic in nature, you need these things built. You need a toilet." And they didn't even scrub the toilet off the list. I mean, how pathetic is that? So I said to Marinith, "Listen, if you're going to get this straight, phone the government up now." So she did. And anyway, to cut a long story short, on a 10-minute kerfuffle argument, the guy goes, "Is that David with you from MIP Peru?" She said, "Yes." He goes, "Give him what he needs," and slams the phone down. So I said, and all the stuff that had yanked off the shelves and all that was all lined up all over the place. "Well, that's going off and it's coming here, and we're going to be building that toilet now." And this is the first sign of Pontia's government, because she won that award and she had thousands of people watching her when she stood up on the podium, and she got a standing ovation. And this has got back to the government, and therefore we were just about to embarrass the government and send them a piece of paper with all the stuff that we were going to buy MIP Peru, because the government's short failings. So Linda, I mean, this is progress, hey?
Yes, absolutely, it's fabulous. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm absolutely delighted with that. So, anyway, poor old Marinith, she's been looking after a weasel. She had to get that and the award over to the place, so she couldn't be with us today. So, bless her cotton socks. She's such an angel. She's doing such a great job. She's done a great job of the presentation document for the funding. It's a new style document, and you can get it on xi4.com on this posting for this show. So we'll finish it probably in the next couple of days and then convert it into Spanish, and it'll go to Urku. So Urku I'm very impressed with. So they've got the 501c3 that I was talking to Alfred about, which protects the guy who's lending the money. Let's get that straight. They want protection, and they don't want to give them money to corrupt organizations like the IRS or the Federal Reserve. So they needed the 501c3. Carrie Ellis had one. Alfred sent me Carol Rosen's one, and then next minute there you find one slap bang in the middle of Tarapoto. But not only that, the mayor of San Roque is a president of this same company. I mean, pretty good synchronicity going on here all around, eh?
Perfect, perfect. Yeah.
So anyway, the other thing I
all
wanted
in
to
divine order.
Yes.
It is, and it's moving that way. And I tell you what, Carl, when Rebecca gets here, and when you get here, and then Bosse might be coming over, and Petter might be coming over, but I think it's a bit later on for Petter. And if we get the first funds on the 1st of January, Darko will be coming over here. But I believe you've, Darko come in, I believe you've got other plans for the next 6 weeks or so, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I have to organize my place here in Dominica first to put my animals in, because I cannot travel with my animals around. So once that's done, I will have my free hands, of course, depending on finances to afford the plane tickets and stuff like this.
Well, I've put down a budget for $2,000 for you and Hilton Retner to come here. And we've, Lars and I have got a plan. Lars is going to start taking over activity that's going on here on the micro project in the office here, because he's involved in all kinds of pyramids and all kinds of weird stuff. You'd love it, you know. You'd love to meet him, Darko. But he's doing your program now anyway, so you can have to meet him. Anyway,
don't forget Donald will be down next month also.
Oh yeah, 20th of January he's coming. That's going to be a bit of a. He's going to call. He wants to come by spaceship. I believe him. But
you just may do it.
What's interesting, Darko, is that Lars and I have got plans right outside this front door here for the Light Mandela awning to go out, and then we put a wooden deck out to the street. And Hilton Retner can have a raw food. Donald's coming in now, but we can have a raw food little cafe so that we can all have your drinks, because we're drinking it every day now. I mean, it's making you much younger and it's much better. And, Lars has gone the extra hurdle. He's having 4 liters of sea salt water. We found our supply of sea salt water, sea salt in Tarapoto now, so we're very happy with that. We're getting the local shops to start selling it now, and you know, so when you see that, Darko, you can see what your impact is on us, which is having an impact out there. That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, definitely. The most difficult thing is to have people change mind, which means changing the habits, because we are so much into the habits and we are being fed with so many lies of what is the real diet for us and what we should do and what we should not do, and has nothing to do with reality. So now reprogramming this, this is actually a change of a lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it in Lars already. I mean, how long have you been on your diet? So it's exactly a week, and you know, a big change. So that's completely all crude food. So that's all raw food, and salt water instead of water. 4 liters a day. You go. So, I mean, basically, you should be ready for the Pulsar now. What would you say about that, Darko? Is Lars ready for the Pulsar?
Oh yeah, why not?
Now myself.
Definitely. You know, we have such a twisted idea about the food that, you know, I'm basically trashing now this vegetarian system, because we just have to look in the nature, and we forgot the nature, we forgot senses. When you look at the omnivores, which we are omnivores, you will see that they actually get their energy from animal protein and fats, and then supplement with the berries and fruits. The only time they'll graze, which means the only time they will eat vegetables, something that is not fruit, is when they are trying to purge themselves. And actually, this is making a lot of sense, because vegetables do not have any energetic content for us unless we cook them and destroy the cellular membrane of vegetable, which is cellulose. So changing of this paradigm, changing of completely how we look at food, we can live without even going through this of genetics. We can extend our life to 300 years. And now with this new paradigm of knowing who we are and what we are, we can directly start getting younger. No more aging. Just get with the program and no more aging. This is it.
So, I mean,
Sweden.
I know you, Darko. Donald, we're going to bring you into the show at the moment. Can you just mute your microphone? We've got some background noise from you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a background.
Yes. So if you can just mute your microphone a moment, we'll bring you in a moment. We'll be delighted to see you.
Is that better?
No, it needs muting.
They want to mute the microphone. Mute the microphone.
I haven't got a microphone.
No, on the system there.
No,
I am.
On the.
I have no idea.
I normally am in charge of the room, but it's been taken away from me, so I can't mute your microphone on this screen. So whoever's in charge of the room, if you can just mute Donald for the moment, we won't get background noise. John, are you in charge of the room?
No, I think Carl is.
Carl is, okay. If you can just mute Donald for a moment, we'll bring him in a moment. Thank you.
Don't know where it's coming from. There's nothing on here.
Okay. There was background noise anyway. Maybe when you speak to your partner, it comes over. Okay. Where were we? Darko. Lars would like to speak with you for a moment.
Yeah, no. Dave, you can mute Donald now. I made you host.
Okay. I've got the host now. Thank you. Yeah. That's okay. I'll bring you in a moment, Donald. You're muted for now, and we'll just continue this conversation with Lars and Darko.
Yes. as you said, the simplicity of it is that if you can keep the cell healthy, the body is healthy. So it's the simplicity of it, and that's what your program is doing.
Right. Right. Basically, it was proven, and a big scientist on this actually is Bruce Lipton, that cell will regenerate itself and repair itself given the opportunity, and opportunity is clean environment. And because we are all being dehydrated on level of circulation, this makes blood polluted, and polluted blood makes polluted environment for our cells, and we are getting sick. So by cleansing the blood, and for this you need sea salt and water and energy, you are actually producing a clean environment in your body for your cells, and they are going to do cleansing themselves and healing. So it comes in stages that has to be understood, because initially you may start feeling really good because you start hydrating and you start cleansing on a level of blood, but all of a sudden cells start hydrating and they start cleansing, throwing all the garbage back into circulation, and this may hit you really, really bad. And this is where people start getting different excuses like, oh, my gonads are working, or my adrenals are depleted. Or they are using terminology that they don't even understand, but they hear it and they repeat it, because we are just a bunch of parrots that hear something and repeat without even trying to understand what they are talking about. Okay, so we have to go past this part and just try to think about what is happening. And if you don't understand it, ask questions, but those who have no idea. You know, this is a little bit difficult now, but we are waking up. We are getting there. And the main thing is that with this protocol, you can never hurt yourself. You can only allow it to happen, allow your body to heal by its own, on its own power, as it is being designed. We are designed perfect, and we are designed to live actually forever. And the cell will always regenerate and keep itself going as long as it is in clean environment. And we have to keep this in mind. This is all we need to do. And, you know, my protocol helps you with it.
Okay, Darko, I actually tried it out, you know, with the salt cure. It's totally amazing to me. It's been wonders. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Only there are these little tricks, you know, that people usually neglect, because once when they start feeling better, they think, wow, it's okay. Well, when you start feeling better, the initial thing is just your body response, acknowledging that now it has what it needs to repair itself, so does not need to give you any more trouble, like reminders. Okay, look, here is a pain to remind you have to do something with it. So people, when they lose pain, they think, okay, now it's done, we are finished. Actually, this is tip of the iceberg. We are just starting to heal. The body is getting what it needs, the cells are happy, and they don't give you any more problems. And usually people in this moment lax. And one of the laxing thing is taking another cigarette, or taking another sip of coffee, or a little bit of moringa, or whatever it's called, all kinds of medicinal plants. Every medicinal plant, we have to understand, is toxic, and it works with toxicity. It does not work actually with health benefit. So we have to be aware of it. Eliminate all medicinal things when you are in healing process, and concentrate basically on purity. Keep your ingredients coming to you as pure as possible, and don't think of vegetables as some.
No, oh, you've broken up there, Darko. You've broken up there, Darko. I don't know if you can hear me, but John has Darko broken up?
Yeah, he's froze up.
Well,
His band.
while he's broken up, Dave, let me share an experience that we've had with going through the cleansing. You feel really good, and then what he's talking about is when the toxins start throwing into your body, then you feel sick. And the way to get past that in a hurry is to do an enema. I know people hate it, but if you don't want to go through those few days of feeling horrible, then just do an enema and it'll go away instantly. That's our
experience. Well, Darko's back in again. And Darko, I just want while we're having the Tarapoto show, I think we should call it the Gothenburg Stockholm show, because we're getting invaded by Swedish people. And we've got Peter here today, who came over to the Caribbean. And Peter, how do you pronounce his name? Peter. And how do you pronounce this guy's name here? Bosse. Peter, please come in. You had the privilege of jumping over and meeting Darko as well. I mean, I don't know how that experience was for you. Please come in and tell us a little bit about. Welcome to the Tarapoto, the Stockholm show.
Yeah, it was beautiful to meet Dr. Darko and his beautiful wife, Hilna Ratna. And yeah, we went there together, and they spoiled us with a beautiful meal at the boat there. And yeah, it was fantastic.
Hi, Peter.
I miss you, Darko and Hilna.
I'll say, yeah, we'll meet in Tarapoto.
Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah,
nice to see Lars Göran there, and yeah, Bosse is going to go. So yeah, good energy.
Yeah,
great.
And I mean, basically, I want to. There's another thing I want to share with you on the website. Oh, am I? No, don't save. Excuse me. Where am I going? Help. I want to share with you something else that when you do come over here, you guys, you will be able to, I mean, Donald can come in now, because what I'd like to do is just speak to you about the people that are actually en route to here. Where are you? Donald, welcome to the Tarapoto Stockholm show. It's been invaded, by the way. Gothenburg. And so let's have a little bit of an invasion from London. Welcome to the Tarapoto Stockholm show.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now? Yes?
Yeah, pretty clear now.
Thank you very much for having me on the show anyway. I'm delighted to be here. The London side of things, I've been to Gothenburg. It's a beautiful place. I've been to Volvo Penta, and the whole Volvo works. So I rather like the place, and particularly Keller Park. So it's a remarkable place. I'd like to go back there some time. Anyway, Peru's more important at the present moment to me. Incidentally, I've been drinking salted water now for over a year. And yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's quite amazing, because I've been drinking about 1.5 liters of water with a teaspoonful of salt in every liter of water. Now, whether that's the right quantity, I don't know.
Well, this is pretty high, but it's okay. You can put as much salt as you want, because your kidneys are going to eliminate surplus. So all will happen that your urine will be very salty, but it will not harm body as long as you have enough water coming with it. So don't worry about it. But remember, this is a great stuff to allow a hydration of the circulatory system, so the cleansing organs can work. But if you have any kind of toxin that cells in your body considered to be dangerous, you will not hydrate on cellular level. And those major toxins that we are taking, usually not knowing, is caffeine, alcohol, nicotine and medicinal remedies, any kind, including aspirin. Garlic is medicinal remedy, and people think, oh, having garlic is good for health. Bullocks. Garlic actually stops hydration on cellular level, so it will harm you in the long run. Don't take garlic. You know, advise everybody you know, stop with garlic. It is not it's a remedy for short-term use. It is not a food supplement. Okay,
Darko,
so be careful.
Darko, I'm a bit surprised about you know, garlic, because you said garlic is not good, but I don't know if you take it just once a day, like for dressing for lunch. Is that okay, or?
It is not good because basically it's neurotoxic. How do we know it's neurotoxic? Well, originally it was used to eliminate parasites in our digestive system. So if you have some kind of a parasite in it, you can eliminate it by eating garlic for 3 weeks. But after that, you should stop with it because it's a medicine, it's not food. At the same time as you take garlic, even in small doses, for cells, it doesn't matter how much it is. Just trace of it is enough to stop the hydration. So what is happening that the garlic will actually penetrate your neuron membranes, and it is going to affect the same like alcohol does. And this makes your whole system suppressed. What happens, for example, the signal that goes between neurons is going to be slowed down. So how do you see it on human body? Your reflexes slow down. We should have reflexes same like animals, very quick, but we don't. One reason is garlic, another reason is onion, third reason is leek, fourth reason is alcohol. So, you know, all these things are slowing our reflexes because they interfere with our nervous system. Also, they suppress heartbeat. Yeah?
What was the fourth one? I missed the fourth one.
Well, I don't know which way you go, but the fourth one usually I leave as medicinal remedy of any kind, and garlic is medicinal remedy.
So, Darko, anyway, your recommendation is keep away from garlic, right? Or
Definitely. Keep garlic in a shelf only if you have parasites in your intestines. So this is the only time.
Okay.
There's a trick.
Yeah.
There's a trick you told me about. When you have a flu, you can cut a garlic in half, have it next to you while you're sleeping, and you can do the same with an onion. And if it goes black, it's removed your virus. Is that correct?
Basically, it attracts them like a magnet. It actually cleans the air. So this way you don't spread the virus around. And also you don't reintroduce it, because every time, we have to understand one thing. Virus does not come usually from around the space. It is being formed within you. It is being formed from a little organism that we call microsome. And actually, I just learned recently that this microsome comes from universe. It is actually pollution that came with a meteorite that struck Atlantis and create disaster in Atlantis. It brought actually this microsome that now is part of every living thing. And if you pollute your system, the microsome gets power because it can mutate into virus, bacteria, or fungus to deal actually to feast on this pollution in your body. And this is how actually you produce them. And then you can infect somebody else with it. So every time when we hear from experts, call them experts, okay? When we hear, well, some animal bird flu or some swine flu, bullocks, because it all has to be engineered and adjusted to actually be able to work on human body, because it's a difference in resonance. So it is all produced in a lab. Every single disease that supposedly jumped from animal to human, it is because it was engineered with animal protein mixed to it. Okay, so now you know everything, all the swine flu, bird flu, what we have, AIDS. This is all generated in a lab, and labs who do it are actually the military labs of the Illuminatis. And this is just open now. It's becoming open knowledge, and this is how this stuff works.
Well, they've got it in the food chain, of course. I mean, one of the things that Marinith is very big on is the fact that we are toxic when we go in to meet these indigenous people. They see us as toxic people because, you wash with soap, which is not good for you. You've got clothes on that have got all kinds of goodies in them that are not good for you. They see that. They live totally natural. And of course, so we're the toxic ones. And I was saying before with Linda that when we were preparing the document, we've got to actually eat a bit of humble pie here. We're presenting ourselves that we've got all this bloody technology, and it's been used in military circles all these years. But in actual fact, we're the ones that are toxic and are going to try and meet them. And so we've got to be eating a lot of humble pie here before we start educating ourselves, going into the jungle and learning what the jungle's got to offer back to us. And as you said before, some of these plants are medicinal, so therefore they're toxic. We've got a lot of learning to do. I get that picture. I don't know about you, but I think we've got a lot of learning. That's why we're here in Peru, Darko.
Yeah, definitely, because what we call medicinal is actually coming from a source, usually plant, that is toxic, but this toxin that we use as a medicine does interfere with chemical process in our body that in a moment is creating us bigger harm than the toxin that we are eating, so it suppresses it. For example, Louis Pasteur developed penicillin. What is penicillin? It's actually toxin that comes from, but this toxin attacks bacteria. So it attacks bacteria, but at the same time it destroys your life as well. It kills your good bacteria in the digestive system and creates pollution in your body that creates even more formation of these higher forms of microsome. So we have to understand these things. This is suppressed knowledge that existed, but it's suppressed.
Darko, we've got about 2 minutes before we close the show, but I've got a real cracking question for you. I'll tell you why I think it's a cracking question, is because I haven't a clue what you're going to tell me. The answer is, and I've known you for several years now. So in Peru here, we've got a lot of medicinal plants. I mean, the tobacco here is a very big subject about cleansing the body. It's called mapacho, and it's a very genuine thing that they try to cleanse you before you take ayahuasca. And then we've got San Pedro and a few other that trigger DMT so that it can expand your mind. Now, can you just clarify for us, are we expanding our minds? Are we putting some toxins in? What is ayahuasca? What is this tobacco? Is this good for us? It's telling you to connect with Mother Earth. It's giving you all these trips. Give us a roundup of that, please.
Well, we naturally create hormones which put us in different stage of mind, okay? Most of them are being done either in a heart or in our pineal gland. It's a natural production, but it can, some plants produce it as well. Now, if it comes from the plant life, it carries with it also a mild toxicity. So yes, you can use it once or twice, but actually what you need, you can use the plant product to introduce you to it. Once when your body, when your brain gets familiar with what it had forgotten, you can recall it yourself. So you don't need it second time. So doing repeated usage of these narcotics actually will start giving you harm. And you have benefit at the first time, introduction of the body, what it had forgotten. So it will remember them. So second time, you just go and you calm down in a trance, which is meditation, and your body will recall what just had got remembered by your previous experience.
Okay. That's very interesting. I mean, I don't know if anyone else knew that in the room, but I certainly didn't. And I know Lars is nodding his head here going, wow. So in other words, this is the big thing that we're going through at the moment in our spirituality, in our rise in spirituality. It's apprenticeship, if you like. And I see it all the time with all these people going for 3, 4, 5 trips of ayahuasca. But in actual fact, all it's trying to do is to tell you that you're capable yourself. Your mind
this
is
is
tuned in.
our natural state. We can always recall it once when we remember how to. We forgot how to because we are hypnotized. But once when you remember, once when you show the body one way, because we don't believe. This is our worst thing, is we do not believe. You cannot fly because you don't believe you can fly. So if you don't believe that you can achieve certain state of mind, well, you cannot do it. And it's your subconscious that controls it. So you can tell in your mind, yeah, I can do it, I understand it. Yeah, but your subconscious doesn't trust you, and you run from this subconscious. So this is the reprogramming part that we are going through now.
Yeah, and that happened to that old lady that we tried to treat, and she kept on saying, I want to die, I want to die. And then you explained what happened to the body when she died quite easily, because she actually started shutting down one by one because she wanted to. Is that right?
Well, as soon as you told me that she is talking, she wants to die, I told you, forget it. She cannot get better because she decided to die. This is simple voodoo effect, you know. If you believe in something, and your subconscious is trained a certain way, it is going to happen. It's instant manifestation. More you believe in something, the quicker it is going to manifest. And you cannot help the body, you know, artificially. It has decided to do through its minds, through its a place of manifestation.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, we should come to the close of the show now, John. We've had 2 hours, so thanks very much, everybody. But we'll leave the conversation open. I don't know if you want to stop recording just to have a 2-hour show to put out there. John, what's your take on that?
Well, the Mixler is still running, so we're still on the air. We've got another 56 minutes left on that. There is a 3-hour limit there. We can go over a little more if you want.
Yep. I'd like to talk. Let's say something to Darko. Listen, I suffer constantly with high blood pressure, and I have an irregular heartbeat. Now, the drugs they're giving me are appalling and have terrible side effects, so I stopped taking them. All I need to know is what can I naturally take that will do the trick. What do I need to do?
Okay, well, I would have to explain to you in detail what's happening so you understand it, so you're not afraid. But on my website, there are radio shows that we did, and there are some on hypertension as well. So you can listen to those, and you have pretty good explanation there. Basically, drugs are not created to correct anything. They are created to make you appear running, which you are not.
Yeah.
What is happening is several different things are included in creating high blood pressure. One of them is thicker blood, and another one is loss of elasticity of your eyes. And this has to be fixed. An irregular heartbeat, it usually points to a problem of supplying your cells with the nutrients that they need. So they are forcing heart to change the beat to give more supply. This all is going to be changed by doing the protocol, because you first have to cleanse, so you can allow cells to hydrate and cleanse so the elasticity comes back, to drop the high blood pressure down, and eating proper food, which means you have to supply fats and you have to supply protein, because protein and fat is a basic ingredient for structure of our body. Animal cells, the basic membranes are created from those things. So whoever tells you you have to lower down your protein intake or fat intake has no idea what he's talking about. All right. plants. We don't work on cellulose. We work on carbohydrate. We work on actually cholesterol. We need cholesterol.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so the same, all this revolves around this same process. So cleansing and then supplying with the proper nutrients, which superfood is again egg, as you know, natural egg as possible, and coconut oil, because coconut oil has actually very good combination of saturated fats that are easily absorbable, and they can serve as energy immediately to our nerve system. So brain loves it. Brain operates very well with coconut oil.
Yeah.
So this is something that should be done.
Yep. Okay. I have thick blood. They have told me my blood is very thick, and I've got
this is it. But don't take blood thinners, because blood thinners do not thin blood. They actually prevent coagulation. And they cause problems. They are mostly aspirin based. It's toxic. So you have to drop all medication. I don't know if you have my email address. Just send me a mail and I will explain to you, or we can hook up on Skype and talk about it so you understand it better. And very quickly you can normalize your state.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's explained a lot to me. You see, they've tried all sorts of things, and now they're talking about doing ablation therapy.
No therapies. Forget about therapies.
Okay.
A lot of doctors are lost in the science, but a lot of them are doing bad things on purpose just to make money.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'll get through to you on an email, and maybe we can sort something out. And I'll go into the website as well.
Okay, you'll recover in no time. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Doctor,
You're welcome.
I have a whole different problem that I wanted to talk to you about. Is I no longer have a thyroid. They took it out 15 years ago. The only thing I haven't done with my body is try to do something about not having thyroid, so I do take medicine.
Well, if they took thyroid out, basically you need what we call the thyroid hormone. But they can never take the whole thyroid out, because thyroid goes through your vocal cords. So there is always some left. The only thing is that with all the medication, they destroy our immune system.
Right.
And immune system is what you need to recover, because through immune system, you activate actually your mother cells, your stem cells.
Right.
Now, to improve on this, you have two choices. Either go on back electrification with change of diet.
I couldn't hear you. What did you say, Darko? Go on what?
The back electrification of what David is using in Tarapoto. Okay, you electrify your blood.
Okay.
This helps recover the immune system very quickly.
Okay.
And the other solution is to quickly obtain the most important protein that is being created by your immune system, which is called GCMAP. It's a special protein. But your cells, yeah, GCMAP.
Okay, got it.
This you can obtain in Great Britain. They are making it there, but the treatment costs about $700, I think, or euros. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But your body produces it, and pulsar from back costs around $300 delivered. So weigh the two options, plus this electrification really works very well and helps with a variety of things in your body.
Well, I had started to make those electrodes that go on my arteries here, where the electrodes pulse through, but it wasn't a proven technology, so I decided not to do it. It was something I could make myself, because I didn't
you know. This is it.
If I may, Linda, you can make
Yeah.
those simply out of pennies. You just drill a hole in a penny, attach a wire to it, hook it up to your stereo, and then plug your computer into the stereo. Use your computer as the waveform source. There's software you can get for that. And you can basically make your own Rife machine that way.
There I am again. Yeah.
Yeah. With computer now we can do everything. The thing is that a voltage has to be high. A voltage has to go up to about 30 volts because you have to overcome the natural shield, electric shield that is your skin and your tissue. Once when you penetrate this, only 5 milliamps of electricity is sufficient to go into the blood to do the job. But the higher voltage is necessary unless you want to poke needles direct to your skin, and then but it burns. So I would not suggest this. If you don't get it directly into arterial blood, then the effect is marginal. This is why Dr. Beck machine is way better than Hudla-Clark zapper, what she called, because it has a higher voltage operational. It is day and night difference.
Yeah, most stereos run at 47 volts, and with the volume control, you can turn it up until you get that zap, you get that tingle in where it touches your skin, and turn it up to wherever you can stand it. Over time, you'll be able to turn it louder and louder, but the first time around, start with a very low volume and turn it up until it's you can actually feel it hitting you. I've done that quite some time, and it does work.
When I treat these people here, I'm sorry, Linda and Donald, you've got a lot of background noise coming in, or side conversations that makes it that we can't hear Darko speak. So I've just muted you for a moment, but please unmute yourself when you want to speak. Feel free to, but you have got a lot of background noise.
I was trying to ask Darko if the machine that you have there that you're using on Jaime or whoever it is that the machine you're talking about that I could use, Darko?
Yeah, this is the SOTA what do you call it, system that follows the circuit of Robert Beck, but instead of using 3 batteries, they have a little amplifier that amplifies 9 volt into 30 volts. So
that would be something that I could use for the thyroid problem. Is that what you're saying?
100%. I've done it with several people. Basically, what happens when you start using it, at that moment you have to stop using the supplement because your cells will start producing thyroidal hormone. Then your addition to it will make it keep jumping up and down because your cells are going to be confused with what is going on. So as soon as you start using this, you have to stop the supplement, and you will recover within 4 months completely.
Can I buy that from you? Do you have that for sale?
I do have some, but you can buy it directly through SOTA. They have now also a model which is a little bit more energy efficient, so uses batteries less longer. It works on 9 volt battery, and it's from SOTA. If you want, because I can also give you a discount number, because my patients get a 10% discount, okay? SOTA calls it SP6 pulsar. They call it silver pulsar, SP6. And new model, I don't know, it's probably SP7, but they will direct you. The newer model is about $30 more, so I think it's about $280 plus shipping. And it's more energy efficient. And you can write down the code for discount because they will ask you if you have it, they'll give you discount. It's CA, like California, CA 5008.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr.
And you can get them. You can get them through Skype. Through internet. They will ask you to become actually member because they are they have been shut down almost a couple of times, so they not sell it openly, but only to their members as experimental machine. So membership is for free. Okay, so you accept membership, and then you go directly in, and you can purchase from them whatever you want.
Darko, would you put that in the Skype room so that I know exactly how to find it on the internet, please?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
That's great, that Darko. And also, you're going to get it quite quickly, Linda. Living where you are, you're going to probably get it. Certainly faster than I could get it. I'm going to rely on Darko coming over. I mean, I could do with, in actual fact, I could do with a couple more of these now, because we're starting to get busy here now. And of course, I'm unprofessional about using it, and Darko isn't. He is professional. But I have been so many years with Darko now that I'm completely confident with this. And soon after, you get Javier, who was on the earlier parts of the show. He just snaps it off the table now and just whacks it on himself. I mean, he's just runs away with it, you know. So, and that's how easy you'll find it. And especially, Darko's probably giving you about a 4-month repair session. So you're going to have to use it 2 times a day. Completely change your diet towards the Darko protocol. And he'll even provide you with some backup literature of what you're doing and how you're doing it to yourself. I've got to provide that for Lars, actually. I don't know, have you got that information yet? Well, Darko, can you please explain about your information that when you go onto your protocol, that you've got a backup document and where we can find it, please?
Well, the thing is that I stopped putting out a generalized model because not everybody needs to be strict on a diet. Okay, so I prefer to talk directly to a person and explore, hearing exactly what is the problem. So we focus on actually the person itself, and then I write the protocol in few words that is easy to follow. But it all goes about minimizing certain foods like hydrates, eliminating some foods, but very limited amount. You can basically eat whatever you want, with the exception of keeping toxins away. Because especially when you are electrifying blood, you cannot have traces of alcohol or garlic or any of these 4 toxins I mentioned, because your cells normally shut down the absorption, the osmotic pump, when they sense those things in the blood. Once when you are hooked to electrical stimulus, cells lose themselves because they actually think that you are sleeping and there is no way to be poisoned, and they just keep absorbing, hydrating, and they will take all the poison in. So you actually can get quite violently ill by eating garlic, big headaches by drinking 1 coffee, and strong heart palpitations. So you have to be careful with things. That's why I say no medicinal remedies while you do that.
I will get with you when I get ready. Okay, I appreciate.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think, Linda, it's quite simple there. I think that you need a one-to-one with Darko, and that's going to help you. And I'll tell you another thing as well, which is very important for everyone. When you do speak with Darko, I was speaking to Lars earlier on this week, and he said, "Oh, I don't need to disturb Darko," and he's been quite genuine by saying that. But then next week we did get Lars to speak to Darko, and Darko wants the information from you because he's recording it. So it is vital that you, in actual fact, speak to Darko. And Lars will tell you now that it was beneficial speaking to Darko, yeah? So, and if he's recording these things, he wants to know how your reaction is. It's very vital for his research program. So just a little bit of a nudge there.
I don't want to take advantage of Darko is the problem. So I'm going to talk to my brother who will buy this for me and pay Darko. I'm not going to take advantage of Darko. So.
Don't worry about advantage. We are here to help each other. So I can be of any help, by no means, just bother me. This is fine with me, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, if all goes to plan, which it appears to be, Darko, we've got a slot here for you, and it's a paid slot, by the way. The reason why the guy's giving us money is he knows that what we've gone through and all the crap that we've had to endure, trying to pick ourselves up with all the other people trying to knock us off our radio station, and he realizes that people who have got these skill sets, whether it's medicine, whether it's food, or whether it's science, these people need paying. And the first $10,000, as far as I'm concerned, in January, goes to getting people like you into Peru with your wife, who can do raw food cooking and educate people. It's all about education, and the amount of stuff you can educate us. We could keep speaking for about 6 hours, and we often didn't we, Darko, in the Caribbean? So,
yeah, well, it's we are living, as we know in science, we are living in darkness. Same is with medical science. Not only darkness, but it was corrupt by intent, just for profit. So we know a lot of false knowledge that we have to correct, and it's always way more difficult to correct things that you knew were right into something that is new, that you always will have doubt until you actually start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I'd like you just to touch on, Darko, and it might help Linda Livesay. I used to, when they used to spray chemicals, you and I used to discuss this a lot in the Caribbean, but I used to make my own colloidal silver, and you make your own, far more professional than me, but it still works. But when you come here, maybe you could start creating the colloidal silver we need here. But I put it into a nebulizer, and I used to whack it up my nose, and then whack it into my breath. And this really created lots of chances of getting viruses and stuff like that. I don't tend to get any anymore, but tell us about that.
Yeah, this is a beautiful way to treat yourself. Basically, colloidal silver is completely harmless for us, and it suffocates the pathogens in our body. So easy to deal with them. It's way better than any kind of antibiotic, but also it is being manipulated now by so-called science, and lies are being spread around. One of the lies is the argyria, the grayness of the skin, and another lie is that ionic version of colloidal silver is the best. I have proven here in several cases that this is not true. Actually, small particle, talking about nanoparticles and slightly larger particles, is a way better way of using colloidal silver. And this is actually what you create with these things like pulsar, because water is going to actually start getting a goldish sheen or turning gold. The color of the water is actually relevant to size of a particle. So if it's in ionic form, actually it cannot be detected. So what happened is clear. And you can put this ionic form of colloidal silver, expose it to the sun, and there is absolutely no change in there because it doesn't function. It doesn't get oxidized. Yeah. And you actually need it to become oxidized to work. So nanoparticles, small particles is the way to go. And you can always test it. You put it a little bit in a glass and you leave it on the sun and you will see it turns gray and murky. It's working. It's doing its job. It oxidizes. And that's how you kill bacteria.
I've been thinking about colloidal silver, Darko, and could you give me a source for getting it without I have to produce it myself to be sure that it's good stuff?
I don't really know. In Venezuela, I was making it myself. Okay, it's really, really easy to make. But in the States, you have to fish for it, but make sure they don't give you the ionic form. Ask for nanoparticle or small particle colloidal silver, and you will know that it is it because it is not clear water-looking substance. It has little goldish sheen on it.
Okay, so would you recommend me to produce it myself, because there's a lot of widths on the net? You can do it yourself.
Do it yourself, but again, even though you can reprogram your computer to do variety of things for you, but I highly recommend to obtain one of these pulsars, because they also produce colloidal silver. You know, they are dual machines. They electrify your blood, and also they come with different attachment that you put together with two pure silver rods, and submerging them in distilled water in a dark environment. You produce your own colloidal silver very inexpensively. It's a really, really cheap, inexpensive process, and you don't use much of it. So there is no problem. Make it yourself. Be self-sustained. Or don't depend on anybody.
Darko, can I just interrupt for a moment? Or can I elaborate for a moment? Just to explain to Bosse and Linda, this machine here that we use for the pulsar, Darko's got the other one, which is the extended version of this, which is the one that's got the colloidal silver on. You get two steel rods and you get an attachment with it that creates the colloidal silver. So you just add that to this list when you buy this, and then you get your own. You can make your own colloidal silver with distilled water. And
it actually comes with it already. It comes, SOTA sells it complete with all the possibilities. So you get it, and then you can use it, either electrify your blood or create the silver, colloidal silver. It comes already geared like this, packaged, ready to go. Very simple.
So you ask for the SOTA pulsar with colloidal silver, don't you, Darko?
No, it comes like this. This is the only way it comes.
Oh, right.
That's the only way it comes. Ready to go.
Yeah. Well, when you come over to Peru, will you bring a couple more machines over, and we'll see if we can get included in the funding so that we can get you out of jail now?
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, as soon as you can, if you can send me some money, I can send them to you, you know, but I'm also leery a little bit about the shipping process. I don't know how functional is the post office, because shipping them with UPS is quite expensive. To Europe, I ship them to some patients using a postal service, which is inexpensive and secure. But I cannot send it, for example, to Venezuela, because it would never get to destination. I don't know, right. Is it in Peru? You know, that I don't know. You have to find out.
It's pretty bad. I mean, Carl sent the 3D printer here, and they had the hands in the bag. They picked the thing up and they smashed it on the floor. They tried to do everything they could to get that thing not to work. And no, so they are a corrupt bunch. So I wouldn't trust it at all. And we go up there, and then they want money off you. I mean, it's a big crime going on here with the post office. So I wouldn't trust it. Simple, plain and simple.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Dave, did you get your founder's coin through the post office? Did you get your founder's coin, the Tesla coin?
Oh, no, I haven't got that through the door yet. Or normally they drop a note in and then they ask me how much it's worth, and then they want the pocket line, you know, but I haven't got it yet. Oh, but I can go and if you know you've sent it, I can go and ask for it at the post office on Monday. Okay.
Let me go check the tracking order first and see.
I'll put the number in the Skype room, Linda.
I will check the tracking number first and see where it is, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, and then on Monday, when I'm going in to get the T-shirts, and there's a few other things I'm getting, I will go into this post and I'll check where it is, because it'll probably go to Lima and then come up here.
I got mine right away, and I forgot to ask you if you got yours. So
right, okay. Well, no, just send me the tracking number, sweetheart, and then I'll check up on it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll throw it open to anyone else if they've got any other questions for anyone in the group. Donald, you're coming here on the 20th of January, I believe, or 21st. We've got Rebecca here on the 26th or 27th of December, which would be great. And then we've got Carl coming over imminent when I get the papers to him tomorrow morning. I'm going at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I'll be back here for 10. You'll have your papers, Carl, so you can then go and do your stuff on Monday. So once we get these two people here, I think there's going to be a big change going on because we've been planning this for over 8 months now. And then we can start thinking about getting this funding in for the new year. That means we can start thinking about getting people like Darko and Hilno over here. That's going to change things. So that means we've got our health covered as well, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
That all sounds pretty good. By the way, Darko, I have a homemade zapper. You know, the Clark zapper.
Yeah, Clark zapper. It is good machine, but not adequate completely because of a low voltage. And because of a way where you put the electrodes, you basically hold them in your palms. This is not a good contact. You have to place them over the arteries. So basically, arteries being used are on the wrist. Okay, so these arteries here, there is no comparison with the back pulsar. I had a friend who had a Hudla Clark zapper. And he was very sport-oriented guy, healthy, and he told me, you know, he uses it and he feels great. And I told him, okay, but try this because I want to know for myself, for true, what the difference will be. And he used the back pulsar, and he woke up in the morning with a headache because of fast detox. So it is definitely big difference between the two machines.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I know the Clark zapper is very limited in its use. I was thinking of getting one of the Spooky 2 rifle machines.
They're supposed to be good, them, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't have experience with them, so I cannot really comment on them. But from what I know so far, what?
Clive de Carl swears by those Spooky 2s. He said they're absolutely wonderful. He's having great results with them at Darko. And you're in regular.
Yeah, I was using what he called Pain Genie.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I was using that with the marginal result, but it is in my opinion was a different action, different purpose. Okay. I recommend so basically for cleansing purpose, to quickly cleanse blood and help hydration of the cells. So it will not take the pain down. It is not designed to do that, but pain will go as soon as hydration starts because your cells will not have need anymore to create inflammatory process. Because inflammatory process is actually part of healing, self-healing process when the body is overriding the cellular decision of not taking liquid, and it's forcing the liquid in through pressure. Now, when you allow cells to hydrate using electricity, there is no more need to force hydration, and inflammation process goes down in your body.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to find all sorts of things that will help with my condition. And one of the things I've started now is basically using myself, telling myself that there's nothing wrong with my body. And I found that really useful.
Yeah, this is definitely a new way of future. This is how we are going to cure ourselves once we know who we are and what we are capable of. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not there yet, so it cannot be done. Reprogramming of mind is the first step.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been working on for the last 30 years.
Yeah, well, now I hope it's going to be easier, though I found it even more difficult because before I could meditate, now I cannot meditate. I just cannot meditate. I cannot visualize. I don't know what's happening with my energy levels, with my vibrations. I cannot do things that I used to.
Yeah, I've been taught a system of using a breathing system. Do you know the process of rebirthing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
similar to that. That takes you down into a very deep, relaxed state. And what actually you feel like you shape your body's like a banana shape. That you're just lying flat on the bed, breathing, and then suddenly everything goes very quiet and white, and that is total, complete relaxation. And then things start to change in your body. I'm amazed with it. I've been using it now for some time, and it seems to be improving me anyway. So
yeah, for sure.
Sorry?
For sure, because our cells basically need energy. As long as your brain is engaged, brain is manipulating and using the energy and actually disturbing the natural flow.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, brain does not produce electricity in any measurable level, anything more than any cell in the body. The energy is coming from the toroidal field of heart chakra and actually is being processed and redirected to the brain. And if brain decides to use it, every part of the brain is a circuit breaker for part of the body. So if part of the brain that is, let's say, relating electric charge into the breast, if it's being busy, then breast is going to be lacking of the energy. And this is how you can develop disease through cancer or cyst. We have discovered this. I mean, Dr. Hammer, with his new German medicine, has discovered also many of these things, but we still wrongly attribute them. We trying with our knowledge that we obtained, we are trying to make sense in what is happening, and it is not possible to do because the knowledge we have is a fake knowledge, is not correct. We cannot make sense of it. We have to go beyond what we know, and it's being slowly discovered through channelers, basically, not through science, but through channelers. A big contributor to my knowledge was recently deceased Dolores Cannon.
Lost you.
Oh, we lost you again, Darko. Are you back again with us? You're back again with us.
Yeah. So anyway, this is where I fill in my gaps of knowledge. Okay, combining something that science did not prove, that science has no clue, to something that we know and we can make sense with, and wiggling through this life of recuperating our knowledge.
Yeah. Yes, I understand a great deal about the so-called experts that are far from expert, and they don't really have it. These scientists, many of them really are looking totally in the wrong direction, and it's like they have their back to us all the time. They're doing experiments, but it's not benefiting mankind at all. All it's doing is helping the pharmaceutical industry most of the time. So at least that's my understanding.
Yeah, well, because pharmaceutical industry finances them to do these experiments. So if somebody gives you money to do something, you will not talk against them, of course. You will adjust your results so it benefits the one who beats you. And this is closed circuit,
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
It's funny how this show has gone from free energy into medicine and then back to the spirit, because that's what's happening here. One of the finest things that Carrie Ellis and a few others in our group talk about quite a lot. And this is something that we're always working on, and we're probably given an extra 500 years to work it out. But when we're talking about the spirit and what you're talking about in medicine, what we're talking about in energy, Carrie Ellis has always said that you've got about 95% bad negative energy within that you're trying to dispose of. And we're beings of amnesia. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to shake that stuff out of our system. Everyone's made of different stuff, but we're all the same. We're all one. And, you know, but we've all got our own different diseases, parasites, call it whatever you want. And they're inside and they're playing with us all the time. That's why I'm permanently barefooted now, getting any negative energy. I don't hardly get aggressive. My human design says don't get frustrated. Well, when I get frustrated, I then have to go into stillness, because I still do get frustrated. It's not like I can just say I'm not frustrated ever anymore. It just doesn't work like that. But you know, at least we're starting to work on whichever way we want to work on ourselves, because we're all unique. And it's funny how the medicine comes around to the free energy all the time. It's always, we are free energy items, aren't we, Darko?
Well, everything is very closely related. But I have a very, very nice quick fix when it comes to calming down. And I use it with my wife, because I'm also quite, I was quite explosive. So now I calm down too. The thing is that what we decided to do, whenever we are pissed for whatever reason, before you say something, you have to put a smile on your face. So, and you won't believe how just the action of using the muscles to put smile on completely changes your psychic. Okay, wow. You can be as pissed as hell. Let's say someone cuts you all short when you're driving car or whatever, and you want to jump. You know, your anger starts building. All you do is you put smile, and everything changes. It's unbelievable. You actually start giggling. Try it. It's really, really something incredible.
Giggling now.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Donald.
It is
Donald, I got a
incredible
question.
medicine.
Donald, I got a question.
Okay, that's a really good info for me, because I get really frustrated about these chemtrails. You know, they are putting it all days in Gothenburg. I see these chemtrails, and I got so annoyed, but I don't know what to do about it.
Put a smile on your face whenever you see them.
Okay, yeah.
You just laugh at the chemtrails. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Donald.
Okay,
Donald,
fine.
You got
I'll try that.
Donald, you got any messages from the? You got any messages from our brothers upstairs?
Not at the present moment. They might come through before the program is over, but at the present moment, all I've got is basically that I'm doing the right thing. That's all they said to me. The idea of going to Peru, they haven't opposed that. They suggested, in fact, it's the right move. But they said you must go there first and see for yourself if you feel you're capable of coping with the conditions there. So that's what I'm doing. And then...
Well, as you can see, it's very, very painful. Just look at us two.
Yeah, it's really painful to be here.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to wait and see. It's like everything else in this world. You have to suck it and see to make sure you know what it's all about. I don't like to jump into anything too suddenly. I've done it in the past, and I've got my fingers badly burnt. So I've lived in communities before. I was an original Mooney in England, one of the very first. So I got my fingers badly burnt there. In fact, I virtually I became suicidal in the end to get out. So many people did the same thing. Some people actually committed suicide, but I didn't. But it was very, very shaky time I had him. I thought it was a wonderful life to start with, but it wasn't. So, you know.
First thing, Donald, the first thing I'm going to do when you come over here, I'm going to take you for a very short walk in the jungle, and I'm going to stumble across one of these vast rivers that have a tiny little lagoon attached to it, just outside Tarapoto. It's only about a mile walk, and I'm going to throw you in there.
Oh, gee, thanks, honey.
You want to feel the energy when you come out of there, boy. Oh, God. You're just like, who's done my batteries in, you know? You just got a new charge and you're just belting up the road. It's really cool. So, yeah, we'll be doing that with you. And Darko, you'll get lobbed in there as well.
I'm sure. I love nature. I love wilderness.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, if you try that on me, you're going in with me.
The lagoon will be dragging you in. Yeah. Oh, I've got a question for Darko here. I've actually found some magnesium sachets here, and it's pure. There's no. It actually says no sugar, no. I can't read it now. It's gone a bit dark here now. But I know Clive de Carle's big on magnesium. Give us a few tips on. It says that this is 2 grams, and you drop this in a decent cup of water, and you mix it. And Clive de Carle told me that if you rub it on your skin and it itches a little bit, it gives you the sign that you're magnesium deficient. What's your take on all that, Darko?
Yeah, this is good test. Another good test is kinesiology. You can test if you need it or not by simply putting it next to your body and trying the pressure of your fingers, you know. But this is something you have to practice a little bit, you know. It doesn't go so easy. Or if somebody pulls down your head.
I'm quite good at that, and I think we did some kinesiology when we were in the Caribbean as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when you put my box of cigarettes against my nuts, and then you test my arm, and then cigarettes weren't very good for me, but you put some other stuff next to me, and oh yeah, you can do with that, Dave. You know.
Yeah, right. But also keep in mind that if you are using the real deal sea salt, the gray one that was not refined, it's loaded with magnesium, so there is no supplement necessary. But magnesium is definitely good because we use a lot of it.
Actually, the first person to come over to Peru, please bring me a bag of the stuff that Darko was talking about, because we did have some. We've run out now. We've just got the stuff that we can buy from Tarapoto, and then we could probably mix that in with it, and mix that in with our drink as well. But if anyone, Donald, if you're coming over, can the sea salt is the grey one. It's the dirty one. You can buy it.
The one I use. It's stuff I use all the time. I wouldn't use anything else. I buy the French one, which is naturally made on the salt flats in Normandy, and it's wonderful stuff. I'm bringing a couple of packets of that over. No problem at all.
I'll make sure I bring some real salt down with me. That's what I use.
Yeah, you can use the one that they sell for livestock, because that one is definitely not tingled with. You know, very coarse, very basic sea salt, because it's the cheapest you can get, and actually this is the best. You know, and it's made actually for animals, so nobody was tampering with it to try to poison us. It's really good.
Oh, he's gone off again.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, just now you got broken up a bit there, Darko. Where can I find that in the agricultural centres here? Where do you think they'd sell it?
I'm sure because it is being given to cows, it's being given to horses. You know, well, depends again. if the villagers there are feeding, grazing their cattle and the horses, or they are giving them hay. If they are giving hay, they definitely have to supplement with salts. And in a nature, animals always have salt pools, and they have places where they go to lick salt. Since they are being activity, they don't have this commodity, so we'll have to supply them. So the agricultural place should have the basic salt for animals, and this is the best that you can get because it was not tampered with.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll go and have a little sniff around for that then, because we've got the white one at the moment, and I know white's not good at anything that you take, but it's actually sea salt, it's sal marina, so you know, it's good enough for us, and we could probably mix that in with it, wouldn't you say so, Darko?
Yeah, because all the salts which were being tampered with, they are lacking magnesium. They may have it, but definitely in too low of amounts. Even rock salt, all rock salts, including Himalayan salt, they are very low on magnesium, and the best part of the sea salt is the magnesium content.
Right, okay, that's cool advice. Yeah.
So actually, where should you go for the best salt? And
the easiest way, go to a place that sells supply for farmers and ask if they have salt there for animals. And you will see, you check it out, you will see it's very gray. And it may even be slightly bitter. This is the best deal.
because I got the one salt now and it's pretty gray, but I don't know if it's good then.
It's gray, it sounds good.
Yeah, if it's gray, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I use is stuff from France, and the product name is Darvel salt, and it comes in.
You know what I'm laughing? Because my first company I opened in the United States was Darvel.
Really?
Because my name is Darko Velček, so Darvel, and that was my name of my company.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that be careful because, again, be careful. Salt has to be gray. If it is white, it was already tampered with.
Yeah. No, this is pure. This is pure. This is a gray. You can buy it in coarse or in fine granules. The only thing they do with it is they obviously grind the larger ones down to make fine salt. But otherwise,
okay.
It's fine.
Another way how you can be definitely sure that it is a pure sea salt is that you cannot shake it through shaker, no matter how many grains of rice you put in there. It is always very moist. It cannot be shaken through shaker.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I'll go and get some. Hey, what's that?
Disconnected.
Just to let you know, I think John's monitoring it closely as well. I think we've got about 7 minutes left on the Mixlr, so the recording will stop very shortly. So we can put this out on our social medias and get this out. We've had bags of information from free energy to new funding systems. We had Alfred Weber on the show, which was terrific, for only 10 minutes, but he was delightful, and he will be with us again. He's told us so. So we've had a great show here, and it's been generally kept within house. It's just us, our team here, which is great. So none of them get that opportunity, you know. So here's Donald. Anyway, salt.
That way. Have to find where it is. Where's the?
Okay, so a little bit too close.
Yeah.
Too close to the camera.
That's it. Okay, fine. Marine.
Marine.
And then it's Danny Val.
Danny Val.
Okay.
Danny Val.
Yeah, that's French sea salt. This is this one is this is gross. This is the coarse stuff, and you can get it in coarser and and I wouldn't have anybody. I've used this all the time. I've used it for years now. So I use it. Don't use any other salt.
Good.
Okay.
Good, because all the other salts are basically toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to run, y'all.
Yeah, that Celtic's pretty good too.
So good night,
I'm
good
gonna
night,
get-
everybody.
All right, Carl.
Good
Steve.
night.
Speak to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm going to run shortly. I'm getting hungry now, so I'm going to go and get something to eat. So anyway, I'll be running out now. So I'll speak to you all very soon. Is there anything you want to ask or say or anything? No. Okay. Thanks very much, everyone. It's been a great show.
It was great.
Bombarded by Sweden, of course.
Have a good night and wake up beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Bye
Cheers.
now.
Good night.
Good night. Ciao.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Cheers now.